In San Francisco, they Narcan people all day long. Fentanyl started coming in and I was like, dude, this is not like any other type of monster. 0.2 micrograms can overdose you. When you get high on fentanyl, your best high is when you're on the verge of death. I would go out into the Tenderloin and I would buy like ½ ounce of fentanyl, and then I'd go back and buy an ounce. And I'd get up to where I'd buy like 4 ounces from a street corner guy, put it in a bag, sell it to you, broad daylight. I would be buying, watching cops drive by.
They've just created a perfect market for drug trafficking. The Tenderloin, San Francisco, California, one of America's most lawless open-air drug markets. 3 overdose deaths a day. Fentanyl sold openly on the streets, while drug gangs operate with near impunity. Officer Britt Elmore spent years undercover, infiltrating the drug crews that control the streets of the Tenderloin. Through surveillance, wiretaps, and confidential informants, he began working his way up the supply chain, from Honduran street dealers in San Francisco all the way back to their suppliers in Sinaloa, Mexico. This is one badass cop, and today he's taking us inside one of the darkest corners of America's underworld. Hit that subscribe button, comment below, and enjoy the wildest crime stories you'll ever hear. It's Britt Elmore, right here on The Connect with Johnny Mitchell. Well, I've said this for a long time. If you arrest the drug users, then you'll have no more drug dealers.
That's correct.
In that, I mean, you'll have drug dealers, but not in the open air markets because there's no business.
That's correct.
So you kind of got to arrest the people using this.
Yeah. Like you said, I'm not very strong on them going to jail, but they need a timeout somewhere. So if their timeout is only place is jail,
right,
you're better off to put them in there. And there was a time when the judges would pull them out and go, hey, man, you want to go to program or you want to stay in here? Yeah, they'd only be in for 5-10 days, let's say. But now it's like, I'm not holding anybody.
Right. You got to leave
Give
them
them
there.
a ticket and let them stay out here.
You got to leave them in there for 30 days or whatever it is, 60 days. Like, let them dry out.
Got to get that clarity.
You got to get that clarity.
Yes.
Dude, those people are suffering. Like,
they don't even know their names. They don't even know who they are. And they're like, it's okay, leave them alone. They have a right to sleep on the ground. Yeah, but they're zombies, man. They don't even know their names.
And you think that's compassion, letting these people literally die on a busy street in one of the most important cities in the world.
Yeah.
And that's, no, we don't want to send him to jail against
and I
his
think
will.
it's wrong to say, well, let's put him up in rooms. So they could what? They could die up there and nobody sees it?
As I said, put them in a hospital that's guarded and people get searched when they go in so they can't bring drugs in. If you don't want to call it a prison, if you don't want to call it a jail.
Well, that's like the jails. There's a bunch of dope running through the jails because before when you went into the jails when I worked there, you got searched. No matter what. If you were doing weekends for a DUI, you got searched. And then some lady comes in and she's like, I was violated because I only came in for weekends for misdemeanor, like something, I don't know if it was misdemeanor or what. It had to be something really low, like maybe a DUI. So the court said, no more searching.
Oh, you mean strip searching?
No more strip searching on nonviolent crimes or long periods of time. So everybody comes in on the weekends and brings all this dope on them, all stuffed up in their cavities, and it's just running rampant through the jails.
Right.
Because they can't control it.
It's a party.
Yeah.
They're probably getting arrested on purpose.
They want to come in.
Yeah, for sure.
So they get money wired from people in jails, family members to their accounts.
Yeah.
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 So I
that's
mean,
nuts. That's nuts. Yeah, I mean, look, they have open air drug markets. Talking about the Tenderloin. We were just down in Medellin, Colombia last year, and Medellin is like it looks like Barcelona or something. Like it's so westernized. It looks like a city in Europe. Yeah, there's foreigners everywhere. It's beautiful. It's clean. And then they got one area downtown, just to like the south of the city. They call it an oisho. It's a hole. And it's like the Tenderloin times 20.
They get pushed in there.
Dope fiends, it's like The Walking Dead. Like you think the Tenderloin is bad, this is times 20. But that's how a lot of cities are dealing with it. They're just like, let the animals.
It was like on The Wire, like when they said,
Amsterdam.
Put them all in there, dude. They could do what they want. Or when I was in New York, I went to New York right after 9/11. They sent 100 of us over there to help. So we went 2 months after. And I'm like, dude, there's no drug dealing out here. They go, they can do all they want in those projects. You fucking step outside those projects, we got a problem. So everything was contained. You want to get dope, you go in the projects. You carried a gun, you stayed in the projects. You didn't come out on the sidewalk. So it was like they were doing it back then.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a rot. I don't know. I'm not here to talk about the solution, because the Western world is, sorry, you're meeting me at a weird time in my life. The Western world is in inevitable decline. And the fact that so many Americans are strung out on drugs, it could be a homeless guy in the Tenderloin or a suburban mother on Percocet.
Well, I don't know.
And there's more of that, actually, than there are of the homeless guy.
True. But because I've gotten older, I don't know if I've opened up my eyes or things are getting worse to where I'm like, dude, $20 billion being wasted on hospice care. Mm-hmm. Why isn't that $20 million on addiction and mental health?
There's so much waste.
All that money should be going to that.
It's crazy.
Why are people worried? Why are these people up in Sacramento worried about guys looking into this when it's like that money could be used for something else, man?
Mm-hmm. We were in Baltimore recently, and let me put it this way. All the retired drug dealers are now running rehab clinics. Yeah. That's crazy, big. That money is even bigger in rehab than there is in selling the drugs to the people. Yeah. So,
and it's clean. They don't have the potential of.
I mean, a lot of them. There are super dirty rehabs that are literally selling drugs to people or paying fixers to pay junkies to come into the clinics for 30 days and dry out, and then the operators, get the insurance money.
Yeah, just get that insurance money.
There are people that are actually getting high inside of the clinics. But most of them are probably not doing that. They're just not really helping. They're just taking the government money, the Medicaid, and then not giving the
service.
Yeah, not helping, rehabilitate the.
Well, they have those in San Francisco where the people that are working there, usually the cleaned up people that rehabbed, they tell them, don't call the cops for anything. If someone's doing dope in here, don't call the cops. If somebody gets assaulted, don't call the cops because we don't want to lose our nonprofit money. Which is fucking bullshit.
It's crazy, bro. Yeah. That shit doesn't work, man. No. That shit doesn't work. But it pains me because San Francisco is just objectively one of the greatest cities, one of the most beautiful cities. California is the greatest state, and you'll never convince me otherwise. Obviously I'm biased. I'm from there. I'm from Oregon. But California is my adopted home.
Did you do a lot of time in California?
I didn't do any time in California.
No, but did you?
Yeah, I lived there for a long time.
Where'd you live?
Decades. I lived in L.A.
Oh, you did L.A.?
Yeah. My brother lives in San Francisco, though, so we'd be up there. And,
oh, he does?
Yeah. And, so you grew up with, like, Mark Zuckerberg and Sam Altman of OpenAI, right?
I know who they are.
I'm just kidding.
I know who they are.
That's why San Francisco's so wild. It's a peek into the future because you have literally the filthiest rich tech oligarchs,
I had
right?
a guy that I was buying from, and he was. I sent it to you. He was dealing to all those people.
Oh no.
Yeah, because they were all getting these mind-altering drugs from him.
Right.
Because they said it opens up the box in their brain to where
I can create a new app.
Think outside the box and create these things. I had a guy selling me meth. It's a pretty good story. I had a guy sell me meth, and then the hook that he used got put in jail up in Michigan or something. So electronically, we figured out where he was at because I didn't have his phone number. I had his phone number, but I wasn't supposed to have his phone number. So electronically, we figured out where he was at. I sat for 4 hours in a hotel holding food from inside the cafeteria there. And they all sat around the hotel and they said, he's coming out of a room. He's going to his Corvette right now. So I just go running out there and I see him. And I'm like, hey, Q, what's up? He's like, what the f are you doing here? I go, I'm working at the Facebook building on construction. I was all dressed like a construction guy. I said, dude, what happened to our boy? He goes, dude, he's in jail like in Michigan. I was like, well, I still need a plug. And he was like, all right, here's my number. So I sat there for 4 hours to get his number. Got it, started dealing with him direct. Right. We pop him, sold me like 10 pounds over a couple of weeks. And he goes, I'll turn you on to a guy who sells to tech.
Yeah. Oh, man, you think about the guys, think about the lick. If you're a drug dealer in the Bay Area and you get in with Google and Twitter.
He lived up in Redwood City in a nice area. So they arrest him. We arrest him. I get him to sell to me. He did like 3-4 sales to me just below his house. We hit his house. FBI has to come with us. And then FBI said, he's a person of our interest. We need to take him.
And then he's selling coke?
He was selling, his big thing was DMT, LSD. Ketamine. Yeah. I bought a lot of ketamine from him. MDMA powder, pure form, all that stuff.
Because think about it, those guys, those dorks, that work in Silicon Valley they all are overworked. They're crazy smart. So they need ketamine to relax, MDMA to go crazy.
The noise
Coke
doesn't
to
shut
level
off. The
themselves
noise
out.
doesn't shut off, so they have to fucking chemically do it.
Yeah. Everybody in the Bay Area, from the junkies
So
to the guys
FBI
making
took him
millions a
because he
year.
was dealing with a big-time CEO. I don't want to say his name because I can't prove it.
Elon Musk.
No.
We all have seen how
No.
that guy's whacked out of his
Not
mind.
Elon.
But somebody at his level?
Oh, yeah.
Come on, break it, dude.
I can't have you because I don't. They never told
I'll
me.
pay
that
for the
from-
lawyer after we get
No,
sued.
I found out who it was, but he was in San Francisco for a while. Then he sold a business and moved out. So I'll leave it at.
Yo,
He was the man.
like a tech guy,
Huge.
like a tech entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Oh, Peter Thiel.
Nope.
Boom.
No. It wasn't. He owned,
Hey, you know who?
he owned a big company in San Francisco.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you guys speculate in the comments which tech giant is he talking about? Britt, it's good to have you. You know who made their bones in Redwood City? El Mencho, el cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación.
Mencho used to sell at 16th and Mission. My boys used to arrest him all the time. Oseguera.
Oseguera.
Oseguera family.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, he got arrested for sales a bunch of times. A gun, caught with a gun. Mm-hmm. And then when he went back, dude, he became the man.
He became the man. Yeah, he was
well known in San Francisco just as a street seller. Just
Right.
as a street seller.
Yeah, heroin.
Yep.
Yep.
16th and Mission.
So the Hondurans really run the Tenderloin on the street level.
Yes.
I noticed that when we were up there 2-3 years ago filming for this show, I saw, because they're posted up on the corners like it's 1985, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just there trapping. And I was like, who are these skinny, good-looking Mexicans?
They came
and that's what I was
during
like,
the crack era. And
Why does this one ethnic group pick that area?
They just didn't pick this area. They picked the Tenderloin. They're up in Seattle. They're in Denver. They're in Ohio. There's these certain areas that they picked. And Portland, yes, up in Portland.
Past the I-5 going to
Yeah.
Seattle. Now, do you think that's because just a couple drug dealers way back in the day came and they were like, hey, we're getting money here. They just told everybody back home?
There's a family, there's a city in Honduras. They call it the Valley. I don't know the exact name of it. And all of them leave there once they get old enough to come up. And it just depends on if your families or your friends are in the Tenderloin area, or they're doing up in Portland, or they're doing Denver, or they're doing Ohio. And that's where they'll gravitate towards. As soon as they get old enough to be able to travel, they'll head up there. And they all work as independent contractors. Mm-hmm. They're not working for a person. They're not selling for a person and getting a certain amount of money taken off or anything. They deal on their own. They're all independent. It's a really weird, it's a horizontal playing field for the Hondurans. When usually you'll see a vertical playing field with drug dealers. You'll see this person's working for this person, who's working for this person, who's working for this person. There in Honduras, dude, I'll go buy dope in the Tenderloin and I'll walk up to the guy and he'll be like, no, it's his turn. He'll give it to the guy next to him. They rotate off. They're not greedy. They're not greedy at all.
Yeah, and then they make their money and they would just send it back to Honduras.
They make this one guy I was buying from. We went up on a wire on him and then climbed the ladder up to the Mexicans for fentanyl, $1,000 a day.
It's insane money.
1,000 days, 7 days a week, and they would send about half of it back and keep half. He had a guy that would hold for him. A lot of times they'll have the bums or the disheveled guys holding the dope in the backpacks for them, and they call them over and they'll pull it out, and so they're clean when the cops come. I was buying from him, and he had this one guy, this white dude, that was always holding his dope. He went there one day. I asked. He goes, "Oh, it's hard to find good work." He said, "You want to work for me?" Because I was all disheveled looking too. And I said, "How much?" He said, $300 a day. He said, "I'll give you $300 a day to stand out here and hold my backpack for me."
What junkie wouldn't do that?
Oh, yeah. And inside the backpack, you're going to have a pound of meth. You're going to have a bunch of heroin. You're going to have a bunch of coke. You're going to have a bunch of crack. You're going to have some M30 Oxycontin pills, and you're going to have a shitload of fentanyl.
Right. And in the Tenderloin, is the fent now, because you just retired in 2024, so you're current. Do all the other drugs contain fentanyl? Like, oh wow,
I have not seen a mix of it. The only time I've seen a mix of it was they were taking Coca-Cola, Coke. They're pouring it into big vats and thickening it up and throwing some fentanyl in it and selling it as heroin. It didn't hit on heroin when it got tested. It hit on fentanyl. Yeah. So they would throw fentanyl in there and just take a bunch of liters of Coke, and as they heat it up and it thickens and thickens and thickens, they put it in, and then it gets hard when it dries.
And they were selling it like it was black tar.
They're selling it as black tar.
So can you actually go find pure heroin in the Tenderloin?
You could find black tar and you can find brown, which has a higher potency, but you're not going to find any China white.
Right, but you can find, like, because we were just in Baltimore, and they now have their version of the Tenderloin, like it's Fulton Street Market. You go down there, but all the heroin, even the meth, obviously the M30s, it won't sell unless it has fentanyl in it.
Yeah,
the junkies just don't want it.
It's not like that here because we would get it lab tested, and our meth would run high 90s. Heroin would test. Black tar heroin's weak. And the big thing was the black and whites, the 1-in-1s. You get a balloon of heroin and a balloon of Coke. It's kind of like a speedball.
Yeah.
So you would buy that, but you'd have to buy a decent amount of heroin to stay high for the day. But once the brown heroin came in, the brown heroin holds a better potency. I was buying pounds of heroin on a wire from a guy out of East Palo Alto, and he would tell me when he sold it to me, like, you could step on this one 4 times. You could step on this one 3 times. You could step on this one 6 times. And it would just depend because they would test the potency when it came up, and they knew how much you can step on it with filler to still make a good amount.
Okay, so you don't think the fentanyl like overtook the opioid? I mean, it obviously overtook the market, but there's still people that don't want it. There's still like old school heroin junkies that want the brown.
You're going to get your functioning heroin addicts that are coming in buying it. They don't want to with the fentanyl because they know once they with the fentanyl, it's all over.
It's all over.
So what they'll do is you could still buy black tar out of there. But what'll happen is if you buy black tar, they'll offer you some fentanyl for free. Hey, take a little of that and try that. That's the shit. Because they want to get you on the fentanyl because the fentanyl, they make so much money off it.
Yeah, tell us the economics of fentanyl after it's broken down from wholesale to retail are insane.
Yeah, it is. You could buy, if you get pure fentanyl, which they get, and you break it down, it's 0.2 micrograms can overdose you. So they cut it with pounds and pounds of mannitol that they buy from Amazon, and it comes in and they blend it. So when you're doing it, the percentage of the fentanyl is very, very low. So it's all profit. What they're making is all profit, other than the filler, the mannitol. What's
a kilo? Like, what would a Honduran crew in the Tenderloin buy a kilo of fentanyl from the Mexicans for?
I've heard upwards 10 to 13,000, but that would make a shitload of when you broke it down for the street.
Yeah, like how long you could be selling off that?
Oh,
for a month.
Yes.
And their connects are the Mexicans. They haven't risen to the point where they're wholesale with kilos of fent.
No, and they don't want to. It's kind of a weird drug. You make more money selling on the street than you make selling bulk. When these guys sell bulk, they don't make as much. They have to do far less transactions. But if you're out in the street slinging and like in the Tenderloin, you're making a lot of money. I mean, you can make up to 1,000 or more a day.
Well, plus you barely stay in jail. When you're just selling little spitters, you know, like the tiny little balls of heroin or of fentanyl, in a place like San Francisco, you're not. Whereas if you get caught with 2 keys of fentanyl, now you're dealing with the feds.
It's so extreme. Back in the day, I was at the end of the crack epidemic in the 90s when I went out there and I started buying. I've done thousands of buys in the Tenderloin. So they would use spitters. They would wrap up crack in their mouth and spit them out to you. In case cops came, they'd drink water, ingest it and shit it out, or puke it out and resell it. They don't even do that with the fentanyl now. They don't do, first of all, it's dangerous, but second of all, they don't have to. They just break a scale out on that sidewalk and they break it off and how much you want. You want 3 grams? There you go. Fucking put it in a bag, sell it to you.
In broad daylight.
Broad daylight. I would be buying, watching cops drive by. Like, I felt like I was doing something wrong. I was like, oh, fuck, it's the cops.
Right. Yo, That sounds like a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. I had a whole lot of fun doing it.
So, and you worked all different angles of it, man. Like you were just like a bruiser. Like if the DEA wanted you to go bust a huge, meth ring, you go there. Stolen car ring, you go there.
Yeah.
Huge weed grow, you go there.
Yeah. That's what I did. I worked, my last 15 years was for a task force. I got into narcotics in 1999, and all we did was buys. We did from street level up to multiple ounce buys because of the money. Mm. And then I would do buys for the feds on the side. The feds would call up and say, hey, we're going to start a wire. This guy wants to introduce you to the person we're going up on so we can get up on this wire. So I'd be like, sure. So I would do it. And then in 2009, I went up full time with them. So what I would do is I would still work for local agencies, San Mateo County, San Francisco, anybody that needed me, I would go out to a local agency. But I would also work for ATF, DEA, HSI. I maybe did a couple things with the FBI, but we didn't really mess with them too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're like a jack of all trades.
That's all I did.
You're like a floater.
Yeah, that's all I did was go out. The metro unit I worked in when I did go up to DEA was like 4 DEA agents, a couple SFPD guys, a couple of other local agencies like Daly City, San Mateo, and then we had CHP, HSI, Postal Service. So it was a big mix of us. So I was there to be able to do stuff for everybody.
Yeah. And so you're undercover much of this time.
Yeah, like
almost all of it.
All the time. They kept me off the street. Yeah, they kept me off the street.
Did you ever get made? Like by somebody who just looked at you and said, the black guys are really good at spotting a cop, I think.
I got made doing street sales one day, but he had sold to me. I had bought from him 2 times prior and he got arrested. And then I seen him and he was like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. I was like, I haven't seen you in a while. And he sold to me, and when he put it in my hand, he goes, oh. Like it flashed, like he's a fucking cop.
God damn it.
Yeah. So that was like on a buy bus operation. We used to do buy bus operations, which was really fun in the Tenderloin. They still do them.
Is there any violence down there?
There's a lot of guns, a lot of knives.
But like what if a black crew wants to set up, I don't know how many like black drug dealers are down there anymore.
There's a group of them, but they mainly do the heroin and the pills.
Like
that's their thing.
M80s?
Nobody wants to mess with the fentanyl other than Hondurans. None of them want to. They have it perfected. They have it set up. They have it down.
Because it's dangerous.
Yeah, but you can get the prescription drugs. You can even get the Vicodins, the Oxys, the Adderalls, the Xanaxes, and the M30s. You can get all those from, but it's the blacks would usually sell those as well as heroin.
Really?
And it's in a different section. It's just a couple blocks away. Everybody kind of minds their own business.
Right. So it's kind of like an unspoken, like you guys are going to have the fentanyl down there. We get the heroin down here. Crack is down that way.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I think Skid Row is kind of like that too.
But if you go to a Honduran, he's a one-stop shop. He carries everything with him.
Wow.
He does not want you to leave. He wants to make a sale. So if you get his backpack, whether he has it on or he's having some disheveled dude hold it for him or sitting in a corner holding it, you'll get the crack, you'll get the powdered coke, you'll get the meth, you'll get the heroin, you'll get the M30 pills, and you'll get the fentanyl. It's all in there.
Do Silicon Valley guys go to the Tenderloin to score if they need powder? Have you ever seen that? Like high-class people down there?
You will see people driving through there in nice cars with suits and stuff on. But you'll also see, you'll see parcel drivers pulling up to get it. You'll see, I've seen kids in Catholic uniforms going up. You know what I mean? You'll see, it's a one-stop shop.
I've heard that some of the Hondurans, when they get smuggled over by the Mexicans, I've heard that that's how they make connects. Like sometimes they even work off the fee to bring them over with selling fentanyl. Is that true?
In my experience, no. What will usually be, because we were on a lot of Honduran wires, and they'd be talking to Honduras, but they'd say, hey, I'm sending my cousin up, or I'm sending my cousin and his friend up. They would pick them up once they made it across. They would only pay, they don't even call it a coyote no more. They call it a taxi. The taxi would get them through, pass them over. They paid the fee, and then they bring them up to where they live. And all the Hondurans that deal in Tenderloin, like 99% of them live in Oakland. And they'll rent houses in Oakland, and you'll have 10, 15 of them there. And they'll get them started with a little bit of dope, and then they'll just tell them, hey, here's our connect. And once they hit the ground running, they're all independent contractors.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And then they just come over to San Francisco to hustle during the day.
They hustle in San Francisco, and then they just go back during the day or night. Just depends on what shift they're working.
So they're running 24 hours.
24/7. You can go out there at 3 a.m. and you're going to find somebody.
And they don't really have not a boss. They don't have a connect there. Whoever brings them over, like the elder, gives them the wholesale connect.
It's like a family thing. They'll pass it over to them like, hey, I'll get you started. This is based off all my experience of listening to these wires. I'll get you started, save the money, and then you can buy a little more from whoever we're buying it from. And from the wire, we'll hear the Hondurans are smart. They'll have 3, 4, 5 Mexicans that they're dealing with. And they don't want to put all their eggs in one basket. And one of them will call and be like, hey, you haven't bought from me for a while. Oh, yeah, it's kind of slow right now, but they're buying from the other one. So they always want to keep different connects and work the angle for the prices.
Get the better price.
But they want that one Mexican to think that, no, you're my sole provider.
Right. It's like how you got 4 girlfriends, like,
Yes.
baby, you're my everything.
Yeah.
I'm busy.
That's exactly what it is. They're very smart market-wise.
Do they go to places like San Francisco and Portland and Seattle and Denver because they're sanctuary cities? And when they get caught selling fentanyl or selling drugs, they know that their chances of getting deported are way lower than if they were, in Arizona or something like that. Do you think they choose those cities on purpose for that reason?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There'll be people we deal with that have 5, 6, 7, 8 cases on them in a 3 to 6 month period because they get out the next day. And the judge is like, okay. They look at it as not a violent crime. And they just look at it as a drug issue.
Okay, so it's weird. It's like a cycle that feeds itself. You have open air drug markets because they don't prosecute drug dealers. So now you get addicts from all over the area and the country. Which brings in more drug dealers. And now generations later, it's like a rinse and repeat.
It's like 50% of the people that are users there aren't even from California.
Right. We met truck drivers that are like, I came all the way here from Oklahoma because I heard you could just smoke meth.
You could do the drugs outside. Mm-hmm. The weather's nice, so you're not freezing if you're sleeping on a curb, and you get money. You get money from the city.
Is that true? Okay, just how? I want some money.
I was told by people that I had talked to, they get like $600 a month.
Right.
And a phone.
They give you a phone? The city of San Francisco gives you a phone?
No, you can get one of those Obama phones because they're standing on every corner. People just fill the paper out and get a phone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. So $600 a month, you could just claim homelessness, and now $600 a month, I can go get some fentanyl, and now I can start flipping it.
And you can eat for free, and you can, yeah.
So, yeah, they choose these cities. These Honduran guys are pretty sharp cookies. Have you ever worked a wire from a street level Honduran dealer all the way up to like a big time cartel plug?
We've done it quite a few times.
Oh, shit.
I would go out into the Tenderloin and I would buy like half ounce of fentanyl and I'd get his phone number. And then I go back and buy an ounce. And then I go back. I tell these guys that I'm selling this. I'm not a user. I sell this shit. And they'd be like, okay. And I give some backstory that I take it to Vegas or I take it somewhere else, or I take it to work. I'm selling it at work. So what would happen, I'd get up to where I'd buy like 4 ounces from a street corner guy because I would call him up and tell him, hey, can I get 4? And he'd be like, yeah, I'll bring it in tonight when I come in. So we're already up on his phone. So once we start crossing the numbers, we just start climbing the ladder and we go all the way to Mexico.
Okay. Have you gotten into Mexico?
Yeah.
So that's possible. How do you do that if you're not working with like the CIA? Like how does the American DEA combine with, a California cop? Do you have to work with the Mexican feds, or how does that?
No, what we would do is we would be up on their phone and identify them. And we'd end up putting a warrant out for them when the wire came down. So if they ever came into the United States, I got arrested.
Okay.
And they had to pay up for that wire.
Today's episode is brought to you by my favorite company in the whole wide world, good friends of mine over at Mood. Mood is making federally compliant, hemp-derived cannabis accessible, affordable, and convenient. And they're grown on small, pesticide-free, family-run farms right here in the USA. And you know you are getting the best, highest quality organic cannabis. Everything ships discreetly straight to your door, and it's completely legal to buy online. They've got a full selection of gummies, edibles, pre-roll, and more. And it's crafted for different vibes, whether you need help going to sleep, getting focused, feeling happy and euphoric, or if you're in the bedroom trying to have better sex, Mood has gummies for that too. I've tried their Sleepy Time gummies recently. The smooth, chill, and perfect for winding down at the end of a long day. I don't even have to take magnesium before bed anymore. I just take one of Mood's Sleepy Time gummies and I'm out, and there's no grogginess the next morning. Their Epic Euphoria gummies are great when you just need a mood reset. And the flower, of course, comes from the small USA farms with unique profiles so you can pick what fits your moment. Listeners get 20% off your entire first purchase, 20% off. Head to mood.com and use code CONNECT at checkout. That's Mood, MOOD.com with promo code CONNECT for 20% off your first order. You guys, this is the only place that you should be getting your federally legal cannabinoids from. They are the longest sponsor of the show, and I love them. CONNECT is the promo code for 20% off at mood.com. Thank you, Mood. Okay, so tell the story of that. Tell us where it was, who was the boss, where was he located in Mexico, how were they moving shit across?
I had one case where a guy got caught with 2 pounds of meth. State case. They told him, you're going to have to introduce Britt. So he immediately takes me to this guy. So I start meeting this guy and I buy a pound of meth from him. He was a lawyer that got debarred from the Bay Area, and he was transporting dope all around for them. So, I mean, he was very, very inconspicuous looking, just driving around, minding his own business. And I'm buying meth from him now. I'm buying multiple pounds from him. And he's talking about my boss. So he turns around and says, I said, how much for heroin? Can you get heroin? He's like, oh yeah, he can get heroin. My boss can get heroin. So I said, well, find out how much. So he gets on Google phone and he starts doing an interpretation. And I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, I don't speak Spanish. I go, oh, I'll talk to him in Spanish. So he's like, oh, okay. So he hands me the phone. So the guy's like, who are you? His name's Manny. I said, I'm Carlos. I'm the guy. He's like, oh, he's selling to you right now. I go, yeah. He's like, take my number down and start dealing with me. So then I start dealing with him. Now I'm buying multiple pounds of meth from him. I'm buying heroin from him. Started introducing me into his crew. Brother-in-law, ranch down in Stockton. That's where they were keeping it. The girlfriends, all this stuff. And they were keeping it at the girlfriends' houses. They were married. And what happens is we do a takedown on the wire. We hit all doors that morning. This was like after probably 9 months, over 9 months, and he wasn't home. So we get everybody else but him.
He's the ringleader.
Yeah, him and his brother-in-law. So he takes off and goes to Mexico. He goes Sinaloa. So then he calls me up and he was like, hey, Carlos, man, something happened. And I was like, I've been trying to get a hold of you. What happened? And he was like, dude, they arrested a bunch of my people. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, I'm not coming back. And I was like, oh shit, okay. And he was like, I go, but I still need a plug. You know, a plug, somebody that can provide you with dope. So I said, I still need a plug. And he was like, I got you. So he would introduce me to people up here in the Bay Area, and I'd buy multiple pounds from these guys. So then all of a sudden we'd be up on them. We'd be up on them. And then they start getting ripped.
Right.
So
were you able to locate from the phone calls that, in Sinaloa, were you able to contact the cops?
I was sending him money too.
Okay.
So
where in Sinaloa?
I don't know.
Culiacan?
I'm not sure.
Badiraguato?
I'm not sure. So
you're talking to a cracker that knows a lot about Mexico.
I know, it sounds like it.
So could you, well, of course you can locate anybody depending on who you know in law enforcement, but could you?
Electronic-wise, they were able to locate him, but I don't know where it was. But electronic-wise, they were able.
Who was able to locate him?
Feds. Because it was a federal thing.
Right. So on our side,
yes,
they were able to use our technology to see into a foreign country where a guy was.
They knew where he was,
Okay.
but they couldn't take him.
Right. So they would then have to get the cooperation of the government.
So you do an Interpol warrant.
Right.
You send it out, which nothing happens with it.
Not down there.
Sometimes.
They got to
If
really.
they don't like the guy, they'll be like, hey, we'll meet you at the border with him.
Right.
They do, but there was a reason why they gave him up and not anybody else. But they do. They'll give him up now and then.
You're right. If they really want you, obviously, if you're a big, famous guy.
He was born in San Jose, California, so he had dual citizenship. So I get a call like a year later from Arizona, and they go, "Hey, is this your target?" And we're like, "Yeah, we got a warrant out for him off a wire." I said he was moving hundreds of pounds. And they said, "Hey, we're getting all these 40-foot trailers coming in with snow glows. And inside the snow glows is liquid meth. And it's him. It's his shit." So they sent me pictures. Dude, it was just 40-foot containers. All of that work to put liquid meth in a snow glow. And it looked like a real Christmas snow globe, but it was all liquid meth inside it.
Yeah, I've heard that trick.
So then he comes across. He tried coming across like 2 years later, and boy, they snatched him.
Even with the Interpol warrant.
Yeah, they grabbed him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why would he do that when he's got all these workers up here?
I don't know.
It's crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's we talked to a guy whose plug on this show, whose plug was a Sinaloa, American-born Mexican in Arizona, and he said, "Yeah, like Phoenix area." He's like, "I got the sheriff in my pocket, paid off," and he was bringing in liquid meth.
I hate to say, but we did have on several occasions where we would hear about the key master. The key master will let you through at 2 a.m. Make sure that lane you were in, stay in the next lane.
Okay, so you're up on a wire listening, right?
Yeah. It was Border Patrol, Customs. They would let them through.
Who were you listening to on the wire when you heard that?
The target was calling the transport guy and saying, "Hey, the gatekeeper, not keymaster, the gatekeeper will let you through, but you got to go between 2 and 3 in the morning. And that lane you were in last time, you go 1 to the right, and he'll be waiting." So one time on that wire for that guy, the guy who went back to Sinaloa, he was bringing a truck back, and they were talking about putting it in the gas tank. It was a big 1-ton truck. And they were talking about how you have to get gas right away because the gas tank's there's a very small gas tank inside it. And we were able to figure out who it was because a couple of other trips he took, we were able to get it off the license plate reader. And we were like, okay, that's the truck. So it came through, and he got pulled over to secondary. And he goes, "Oh, my uncle's working tonight." And his uncle was Border
Patrol. But they still busted him?
They busted him, and they got the Border Patrol agent after. When the takedown didn't happen right away.
I see.
So they ended up getting them both. They were able to get their phones. Yeah, but he was the gatekeeper.
And he was just waving them in.
Yeah,
waving them through.
Because that's what they'll do is like you'll put one car that's dirty with a pound of weed in it, and they'll secondary it. The dog hits on it. They let all the other cars behind it go for a little bit.
For sure.
So you're sitting behind them with a loaded vehicle, and you're like, "Fuck, clear,
go, 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 baby!"
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, I love when people get away with crime. I got to be honest with you. I love when loads of dope get through.
Dude,
I hate the government so much.
To me, it's a game.
It's just a game.
It is. And a lot of the real crooks act like it. They're like, I got caught on this one.
They kind of give a grin.
Yes, a grin, kind of like, I got caught slipping. And nothing personal, dude. I take nothing personal when it comes to this stuff. I really don't.
Dude, you busted so many guys. You saw so many people get surprised.
Yes.
Because you were Carlos. You had this alter ego. Because you're basically lying for a living. You're going out every day pretending to be somebody else.
Correct. Which was easy to be because I grew up in that environment.
Yeah, you had family members that were in the game.
Oh, my friends were in the game. I had family members. When I dropped out of school at 15 and I went to work, I was living with a family member. We were doing construction. Our whole family would do swimming pool construction. He worked at a bar, and he at night, and he'd sell the bindles. Remember the little paper bindles, the little snow seals?
Coke.
Yeah, he would sell those all the time. So I lived with him. So he ended up, because he ended up hooking up with a bunch of NFL players that were in that area.
The 49ers.
Well,
Who else?
so they would go into that bar, but I would wake up to people beating on the door like at 3 a.m. And I would be like, fuck. But I was a little kid, dude. I'm like 16 years old.
You're like, Joe Montana?
I answer
what are you
the
doing
door.
at my door?
I
Steve
answer the
Young?
door, and there'd be some big-ass football player saying, hey, go get your uncle for me, man. Yeah.
Did you get an autograph?
No. I knew all those guys from that. But
Can you imagine if Jerry Rice, if you sold coke to Jerry Rice? You have to tell me if your uncle sold coke to Jerry Rice, please.
He did not. But there'd be these big-ass football players, and it was so funny because they were like little kids. Back in that day, you didn't make a lot of money as a football player compared to what you do now.
Sure.
These guys lived in the same area and everything. But they'd be like, hey, man, give me a half ounce. I'll catch you on tomorrow for it. I just need it right now. And
I pawned my ring, dude.
I would be sleeping there, and my uncle would be like, all right, let me go get it for you.
Yeah, you definitely could have got into the game. Like, you have the wiring for it. You have the environment for it. You got the brolic, but you just, thank God.
It just wasn't my thing. I was around it. I watched it all the time, but it just wasn't my thing. I wasn't like a big anti-drug guy. I just didn't do it, man. I just didn't.
I meant you could have got into the game.
Yeah, but I just
selling
didn't get
drugs.
into any dope, and I just didn't get into any marketing for it either.
Yeah.
I just didn't.
Yeah. So you worked all kinds of crazy stories, like all kinds of crazy, like stolen car rings. You posed as like a fence.
Yeah, we did a fencing operation in Colma, just outside San Francisco. It was a warehouse. ATF ran it. DEA was the other group that assisted, CHP, San Francisco PD, Daly City PD, and it was just this tight-lipped group. Nobody knew what we were doing. We did it for a year and a half. And ATF brought a bunch of these, I call them mercenaries. They bring them over, and they just sprinkle them out into the area.
Yo, talk to us about what mercenaries are. This will blow your mind.
They get paid to go out and find customers or clientele to draw in, and they get a hotel, they get a car rental, and they go out and they just hit the bars, hit the gambling shacks, hit all the places where they know they can find somebody. And the whole thing was, I was Carlos, I was up at a warehouse. It was me, Jared, Luis, Alex. There was a bunch of us that were the fencers, but I was kind of like the main fencer there.
So these mercenaries are snitches. They're paid.
That's all they do.
They're paid, like literally
They
being
get caught really bad.
Yeah.
They do some time, and then they work for the feds.
And they get paid a salary.
They get paid a salary.
They're literally employees.
When they're working, correct.
Okay.
So get brought up to like San Francisco they brought up San Francisco probably for 8 months that time.
So they're, in this instance, they're trying to get people in to buy under the guise of buying stolen
to sell.
goods? Okay.
They're going in there saying, hey, there's this guy named Carlos, got a warehouse up in Colma, and he's buying guns, dope, and stolen cars.
If you got it, we got to buy it for you.
Get a quick sale. So I would get these guys calling me from everywhere on my burner phone and saying, hey, so-and-so told me to call you. I got a car. I got a gun. I got a rifle. I'd be like, okay, come on up. And I had a whole rules. The whole rules is when we had that operation going at the warehouse, you didn't just show up. You called. Because I would tell them, you don't want somebody seeing your business, so you don't pull up here and beat on this door. You call me and I'll give you when it's appropriate for you to come inside. So we'd have cars rolling in, roll-up door comes down, they bring out what they got, we buy it. We had like 10 grand at a time. We'd buy dope, we'd buy guns, we'd buy stolen cars, and it just took off. It just took off. My phone was ringing all night long, early morning long. Hey, I just stole a car. I got to bring it to you. I'm like, I'm not there till 5, man. You got to come at 5. I don't know where I'm going to put this thing. I don't know where you're going to put it, dude. Come at 5. And then another guy would call. I got 2 rifles I want to sell. It'd be like, okay, you're going to be around 6. I'll call you when you can come in. But
and you guys that built this warehouse out.
It was a warehouse inside a warehouse. So it had like rooms all the way around it, with cameras and joysticks zooming in and out and audio, and a whole crew that would immediately this wall would come down, never happened.
Right.
But this wall would come down and they were all strapped, ready to go, all geared up.
You guys built a movie set.
That's what it was. And it was outside too. And we'd have a whole crew of outside people that would follow those cars in, follow those cars off, get the license plates, get pictures of them, follow them to if they went to a residence or something, because we were doing search warrants later. It went for a year and a half. I think we ended up with 135 bodies just off of those.
That's
a lot of guns, a lot of rifles, a lot of stolen cars. I mean, I would get guys that call up and go, open up the roll-up door. And they would steal a car from the dealership up the street. And they come flying in with it. Yeah.
Insane.
Or they'd come in with a car that was kind of wrecked, and I'm like, dude, it's got a dent in it. CHP tried to stop me in Oakland. I hit the car. I hit the CHP car.
Wow.
To get here.
Wow.
But CHP took all the vehicles, went and parked them somewhere. And then when this whole operation was over, they called all the people up and said, hey, your stolen car, we have it for you. Yeah.
That's insane. Dude, so none of those people, they're all dead to rights. They're on camera. There's audio recordings of them. No, everybody's pleading out.
No. I did the prelims on the state cases for the stolen cars. I did all the Fed cases for the dope and guns. No, they
So did most of those?
They pled right away.
Is that most of the gun and dope cases went federal?
They did. All of them did. Yes. Just the stolen cars.
What were state cases?
Yeah.
And you don't do any time for stolen cars, right? I always recommend to people.
San Mateo County, you might. San Francisco, you wouldn't. But San Mateo County, you might. A minute.
Yeah. Everywhere, like even up in Oregon where I did time, you know, everybody that was in there, I'm in here for, what do they call it? Like
joyriding.
Yeah.
When you steal a car, they can get you for joyriding because they didn't see you specifically steal it.
Yeah. Yeah. They call it like a DMV. No, unauthorized use of a motor vehicle.
Oh, okay.
That's how they, UMV. And I'm like, dude, this is a great crime. Everybody, you're doing like county time.
Yeah.
So if anybody's listening out here, I can't recommend car theft enough, dude.
But these ones would bring them to me and they'd tell me where they stole it. They told me how they got into it. They told me, they'd be like, hey, this is what we did to the ignition. You're going to have to fix it. So they stole the car.
There's so many stupid ass criminals.
And then some people were bringing me, there's these companies that you can buy a car and then you can rent it out.
Turo.
Turos. They bring me Turos and I'd be like, there's a fucking tracker on this thing, dude. Get this thing out of here.
Dude, I'm the cops. Get out of here.
Yes.
How stupid are you?
Because Colma didn't know we were doing it. And Colma and Daly City, they would get tips. Like someone would call and be like, hey, my Hummer was stolen and it's pinging at this warehouse. So we'd be like, get this thing out of here.
You didn't want to blow the...
We didn't want Colma showing up and saying, what are you guys doing? And you also would get guys that get arrested in San Francisco and Daly City and be like, hey, there's this dude Carlos up in Colma, man. I can hook you up with him. He's buying all kinds of stolen goods, guns, dope, cars. So we'd have to vet those out and be like, oh, yeah, we're looking into it. We, like narcotics would say, oh, yeah, we're looking into it. We know who he is.
So you're Carlos. That's your alter ego.
That was one of the names I used mainly, yes.
Like, and you have a family. Would you ever be out with your family on weekends and like run into a guy and he'd be like, oh, you're the guy that put me in jail. You're not Carlos.
Yes. They knew right away. When they get arrested, it comes out in discovery.
Right. But I would think like you got to keep yourself hidden like on your free time, right? Because
I did. I kept a very low profile.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kept a very low profile. I had been in stores and stuff and seen somebody and was like, oh, fuck, I'm going to go out the back.
Did you keep the tool on you?
I carry that thing if I put my garbage out. I do not want somebody to decide they won't pay back.
Yeah. Let's talk race. What race in the Bay Area is committing the most crime?
Well,
I was sort of kidding, but I love that you're taking it seriously.
No, it's like you're
like,
if you wanted to look and see what race would be, it would just be the cops aren't proactive anymore. They're reactive. So you can never say that the police department, San Francisco PD, is picking on a certain race because
that's very diverse.
Things are so bad, they're reactive to a crime. Before we would go out and find crime. They don't find it no more. Now it's like, hey, there's a car being broken into at the corner of Franklin and Turk. Can some units respond?
Yeah, but you said before we started filming that you're for these flock and license plate camera readers, and you said it's reduced crime by 40% in the city. So that is a way Maybe that's why you don't think they're reacting anymore, because they don't have to. They're just sitting behind
But this is just my opinion. Just my opinion. Policing has become a reactive thing.
Right.
After like Floyd and stuff like that. Nobody wants to get complaints on you. Nobody wants to. I remember when I was at narcotics, I was on a HUD unit, housing urban development unit, and we did there were projects then, now they're housing developments, but that's all we did. And we would get complaints every day. He broke my door. He cracked my door. He did this. He did that. And they were all legit investigations. Mm-hmm. Now you get those complaints, and you've got watchdog groups going after you, calling IA, you need to look into this. So a lot of the cops, I think, have more of a reactive thoughts instead of proactive.
Yeah, but you said crime, on the one hand, you're saying things have gotten so bad, but then on the other hand, you say crime's way down. Crime
is down. No, but I'm saying crime's down, but I'm saying like when it comes to the mindset of the officer, like if you stop somebody in a Tenderloin and they're injecting or smoking fentanyl on a foil, you're giving them a ticket. Give them a parking ticket, and they reach in their pocket and pull out 20 of them and put it with the other 20 and push it in there. Do I really want to stop if I see them doing that?
Yeah, good point. So you guys just, crime's down because maybe you're not looking for as much crime.
Yes, before you would go out and search, you'd hunt. You'd hunt. Now it's more reactive stuff. If somebody says there's someone smoking fentanyl in the corner of Eddie and Taylor, you're going to go out there and deal with it. But like I said, when I was getting my dope weighed out in broad daylight, they're driving by because it's like, what the f I want to do?
Yeah.
I want to go spend, and I'm not saying that towards them in a bad way. I'm saying that I feel society has made it so much easier for breaking the law that it makes them want to think like, do I want to grab this guy with some dope and spend 4 hours on a report and a booking and he's getting out before I get off my shift? I'd hate to think that it's like that, but it feels like it.
Yeah, on the one hand, you're right. Low-level crime, like street-level drug dealing, injecting, using, the cities have just given up. Cops have given up. I mean, because it's exhausting. It's like, it's never ending.
And it's nothing that's going to get any better.
No.
With what we're doing now. It's like they put a cop at Target and they just walk out all day and they're like, it's only $600 worth of stuff. Give me a ticket. No, put it all down and fucking stop. And then they'll come back out like 2 hours later with the same amount. It's like,
it's the cop's like doing math. He's like checking the receipts. He's like, oh yeah, you're right. This is under $900. You're good. You're good to go.
It just sucks.
Yeah.
It just really sucks. I mean, it makes you feel like, before when you arrested somebody, I felt good when I arrested a user back in the day because I was like, I'm doing you a favor, dude.
Yeah.
You are a mess and I'm going to put you somewhere for a minute and you just give you some time to think. I'm not a big incarceration. Everybody goes to jail. I don't think like that. But you're going to have a timeout, maybe get some clarity. And I didn't feel bad about it. Now I'm seeing that you're not going to jail. You can get stopped every single day doing dope. And every single day you're going to get a fucking ticket. And it might turn into warrants later for not showing up to court. But the courts don't really care about that.
Yeah.
They don't care about that you have 50 tickets for using.
It's like we're stuck. America's stuck. It can't decide if it wants to be full totalitarian or completely dystopian. So you've got these pretty soon to be drone cameras that can spy on everybody, violate everybody's Fourth Amendment rights. I drive by a camera and it can read everything where I've been. And that's like, straight up Chinese Big Brother nightmare shit. And San Francisco has all that, but then you allow shoplifting and open air drug use and people shitting on so which one is it, guys? Like, why do I have to live in a digital prison if I also still have to step over dead people in San Francisco?
That's true.
You know what I mean?
No, you're absolutely right when it comes to that. I like that the real-time crime center they have with all the flock and drones and license plate readers. I like that they can respond immediately for violent crimes.
Yeah.
Robberies, car break-ins, because when you get a car break-in, if somebody bips your car, they do 30 that night.
Right.
They come over from Oakland, they come over from other cities, and they'll ride through and they'll just hit air. And then they'll pull up to some lot and they'll just push out. It looks like a dump because it's all the shit they don't want. It's all the luggage and everything that after they sift through it. All the purses, all the jackets and shoes and all this shit.
Okay, for people that don't know what bipping is, this is a very San Francisco Bay Area specific criminal racket. Tell us what the phenomena of bipping means.
It's going through and breaking into cars, and you're going to have a lot of it in San Francisco because of tourism. Mm-hmm. These tourists don't understand. They come from the airport and they're like, let's hit Pier 39. And they leave all their luggage
Let's
in there.
Let's go down to the wharf.
Yes.
It's a lovely white family from Iowa, and they're like, we want to come see Alcatraz.
Let's go watch the seals out on the pier, and they come back and all their shit's gone.
Right.
And what'll happen is you'll listen to dispatch and they'll say, hey, there's a white Lexus with stolen plates on it. It's going through the northern. It's breaking into cars. Well, the cops can't chase the car because it's a property crime. Because then that car will take off and hit somebody, and the cops are going to be responsible for it. Now you'll hear all day long. Now that car's by Pier 39. Now that car's by the marina. Now that car's over by Golden Gate Park. It'll be the same damn car, and they know that all I got to do is get on the wrong side of the road or something and punch it. They're going to back off me.
Wow.
They don't want you chasing them. They don't want you boxing them in. That's why the Real-Time Crime Center, you put a drone up above them and you watch them break into cars. As soon as they stop to get gas or they get hungry because they've been breaking into cars all day, you grab them.
I've worked up an appetite.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so basically it's cars of, let's face it, usually black kids from the East Bay coming in, and they're just looking for luggage that's visible. They're looking for valuables that are visible in a car.
You will see them pull up 2-3 cars at a tandem, and they'll look in windows of cars. They'll jump in the car. They'll look in windows of cars. They'll jump in the car, and then they'll circle back around. They'll be like, at that one, there's got luggage in it.
And then they go up, and do they use the things that the cops use to break your?
They'll just pop the window. They're in and out. They'll do a window punch.
Yeah.
They climb inside, pull all the luggage out.
Yeah, and then they're gone.
Then they're gone.
And have you ever gotten a wire up on? Are these organized rings? Like, do they actually go sell to higher up fences?
They
and
will
things like
fence
that?
the stuff. Yes, they will fence the stuff. If you go down to Market Street, you can get rid of all your electronics down there. You can get rid of all your iPads, your laptops, your cell phones. They'll buy all that stuff.
But is there anything on a grander scale? Like, do they sell to Asian gangs that repackage the stolen goods and ship it overseas or anything like that?
What it usually does, it'll go down to Market Street, and you'll have some Asians, you'll have some Hondurans, some Venezuelans, and what they'll do is they'll store all that stuff, and they usually load it into trailers and send it out of the country. So those will be like big containers with tons of electronics, cell phones, laptops, iPads. Wow. Or they'll be sending out, if you're talking about retail theft, they're going to go into Union Square and they're going to steal all the $500 tennis shoes and sweatsuits and all that stuff, and they'll buy that as well for like $10 and for a dope fiend just to get as high, and those will get loaded up too, and those get sent out.
And right out of the port of San Francisco.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you ever work any big cases like that?
One of my buddies did. He worked a huge one where it ended up being Russians across the bay. They hit a warehouse, a huge warehouse. It was so big. Might be wrong on this, but like CVS, Long's or Walgreens, maybe Gap went in and they had to scan all the stuff and load it onto pallets and wrap it.
Like, that's mine, that's mine.
That's from us, that's from us, that's from us. Yeah, and it was massive. They brought in like 40-foot trailers and were just wrapping pallets and loading it up.
And that's all from bipping and theft?
Retail theft, all from retail theft.
And that's way better than drugs. If you're a criminal, you're like, this is huge money. Well, it's drug money, but with something that gets me a fourth of the time in prison.
Yes. And I was doing things like, we would hook up with Walgreens, we'd hook up with Gap, and then what would happen is I would dress disheveled and I would go into the corner markets in the Tenderloin. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm working at a warehouse on Walgreens. I can get what do you need? They're like, give me Axe spray, give me toothpaste, give me shampoo, and I would walk in with boxes of stuff. They'd give me pennies on the dollar for it. So what would happen is, and a good one is, if I acted like I was a dope fiend, and I'd be like, hey, can you get one of those guys to sell to me? They'd be like, oh, I got it. Yeah, hey, take care of him. Wow. So then if I bought dope, the city attorneys would go after the store.
Okay.
And they would tell the store like, hey, dude,
you're selling stolen shit.
You're buying stolen shit, which you're reselling, and you're letting people deal drugs inside your store.
And these are the reason this is so fascinating is because this is Baltimore Rust Belt level crime in a place that's got more wealth than entire continents, practically. We're talking about the Bay Area. We're talking about trillions and trillions of dollars in wealth, and this sliver of the city that's just packed with people, and their whole goal is to do crime and get high.
Yeah. You'll go down to Market Street, and it'll be retail theft. It'll be just shit all over, and they're just dealing. People are coming in, selling them stuffs, and they're just taking it, and the stuff they want, they'll take it to their car, and the other stuff, they'll resell it out there. They'll have somebody selling it for them.
And nobody's arresting them?
You arrest them, but then it becomes an issue when you seize the property. You got to figure out where the property belongs and stuff.
And that's almost impossible. Who's got the time? It's like a victimless. They don't spend any time in jail.
No.
Do you see what this is like? San Francisco is a microcosm of what the United States is becoming, both economically, right? You have this vast, unbelievably, unimaginably wealthy elite, and then they're letting the underclass literally kill each other and wither away. And it's completely dystopian. It's like out of a sci-fi novel.
2014's Proposition 47 in California. That was to turn users into misdemeanors, and anything under $950 that was stolen is a misdemeanor, which is a citable offense with a ticket. Once they did that, it was fucking game over, dude. Game over.
Should we go sell drugs in the Tenderloin? Like this podcast shit. This might be for the birds, dog. I'm cool. I'm cool off this. We could just go bubble real quick.
Yeah, it's quite a circus out there.
All right, so tell me about that story about the Hondurans with the stolen cars going up to Seattle.
Well, they weren't stolen cars. What it was they would get X5s. X5s has a space beneath the seats. So they would cut out the seat and put trap doors in there, and they would load it, and it would go to. It was for Washington, Portland. They would drop dope off there.
Oh, I see. Okay,
large amounts.
Okay, these are BMW X5s.
X5s.
Okay.
So the drivers would dress in 3-piece suits with ties, and they knew that if, like, they would have, like, you would hear from the wire, like CHP pulled up next to him, looked over at him, and were like, that's a normal person in a suit and tie. That's a normal person in a suit and tie. Yeah.
So would you follow wires? Would you follow loads of dope from wiretaps all the way up through Oregon into Washington, all the way from San Francisco?
Yes, and you would also notify them over there, the feds that are over there in Washington, Oregon, and let them know. And we would have calls with their people, so they would do spinoffs, and they would go up on their wire off of it. That's the easiest way to go up on a wiretap. Wiretaps are really hard to get a judge to sign. But if you do spinoffs and you're like, hey, this guy, Jose, keeps calling this guy Manuel in California, and he keeps bringing him dope up, like large amounts, like 15 pounds of crack, 20 pounds of meth, like coming up there on a regular basis, the judges will allow the phone.
Okay, so tell us about getting a wire. Did you know judges? Did you call up judges and get wiretaps authorized, or was that your supervisor?
That would be the feds would do that.
Okay, so none of these taps were local or state level wiretaps.
We've done some state ones, but we would usually go through the feds.
Why is that? Because it's just easier?
It's easier and cheaper.
Okay.
Feds got money.
For sure.
So they could going up on a wire can cost you upwards more than $30,000 a month with the monitors and the transcribers and all the other shit. And that's not including buying the dope.
Right. So, because they have to, how do they do it? They have somebody in a federal building take the number, and can you explain how that works, the mechanism for actually?
Yeah, what you would do is you would build a case up and you get hooked with an AUSA, which is a federal lawyer.
Right.
And they would connect with the case with you and they'd work it alongside you. So I would go out and do buys let's say I do buys in Tenderloin, or I do buys in the peninsula, buying multiple pounds. And then they have to write an affidavit to show that this guy's a drug dealer. And not just based off of me. It has to be based off of other things as well. You need dirty phone calls. You need numbers that are from other drug dealers that are purchasing from as well. So I can't just go up buy dope from a guy and go, click his phone, we're going up on him. It's a lot more intense than that.
So you have to give the AUSA all that proof? You're working directly with them?
You're writing that affidavit and you're like, Britt's out there buying multiple pounds from this guy. One of the numbers we have corresponds with a person who's out on 2 open cases for large amounts of narcotics. We followed this guy around. There's a whole bunch of stuff you have to do. Mm-hmm. You have to exercise a lot of different things that I went through this, I went through this, I went through this.
I got all this meth, and pictures.
I can't follow him because he cleans himself up when he's driving. He's sending other people. He's using multiple cars, so we can't put trackers on the cars, just stuff like that. And the judge will read the affidavit in Washington. The lawyers there will wash it clear, and then it'll come to a judge here. Once they clear it, in Washington, it'll come to a judge here, local, whatever, like Northern District of California, and that judge will read it and decide whether he signs it or not.
Fascinating. So everything has got to go through Washington, D.C. first.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Dude, you're like the bald guy. You're like Herc from The Wire, dude. I'm talking to the real live Herc, man.
But I never did that. I would do a lot of reports and a lot of to my buys. I do buy reports and all this stuff. And add stuff to affidavits, but I never wrote a whole, dude, affidavits could be 150, 200 pages.
Crazy. Just to get one wire.
To do one wire. And then you go up on that person, and then you find out who their supplier is. Mm-hmm. So now you got to do this whole thing again to get up on that person. You've got your dirty call from the guy you were up on going, but then you have to tie him into other people, and you have to do all this shit.
Right. Did you ever have to get dirty? I'm talking about really beat the shit out of someone, like manhandle them. Did you ever get written up for being too rough with a suspect?
No, I've never got written up for excessive force.
God, I would have been, if I was a cop, they would have had to take my badge.
I was choking guys out in the Tenderloin that were holding mouth dope. And then I was told not to do it anymore.
Because they used to keep
they keep all the crack in their mouth.
Yeah.
So what you do, you'd walk up behind them and they'd show you crack in their mouth thinking that you wanted to sell to them. Then you'd spin behind them and you'd put them in a figure 4. But I said I was saving their lives because they're going to ingest that crack. And they're like, no, dude, no more of that.
So was that one of because you guys consulted on Training Day. You remember in the movie Training Day where Denzel, it's Snoop Dogg's in the wheelchair and he's selling crack.
I met Snoop Dogg and everything. We were there for that filming.
Okay, so and then he sticks a pen in his mouth and he gets him to puke it out
because he swallowed it. That was one of our thoughts because of the Hondurans. They do it. Funny thing, you'd pull up to the Hondurans and they'd look at you and you look at them, and the minute you crack your door, they do the water and they drink it, and then you drive away. And they're like, motherfucker, I got all this shit in my gut. Fuck, I got to go puke it out or shit it out or do something.
I got $500 in my.
That's all you had to do is pop the door. And they'd be looking at you holding their water. And then they don't do it. They
So this is not, they don't sound as sophisticated as like the corner crews from Baltimore that really, they have the dope hidden behind an old tire, right? In an alleyway. They got another guy holding the money.
They don't have to be.
Right, because they don't stay in jail.
But a lot of times, like on a buy, if I did a buy, the guy would tell him, hey, give me a 50 shot. He's buying a 50 shot. He'd hand it to me. I'd hand him the money. He'd hand someone else the money. And then I'd tell him, take all 3. And it'd be a conspiracy.
Right.
But they would hide the dope underneath the cars with magnets and stuff like that. But I mean, you don't really have to. I mean, the consequences were very, very low.
Was there ever a case you stumbled on that shocked you by who was selling drugs or the magnitude of something?
the cases were weird. It's like you could do a case thinking, okay, I'm going to get this guy for a couple pounds. And then you hit his place and he's got 50 pounds. And you're like, oh, shit. You know? And everything is timing. Everything's timing. We've hit places. We hit a place in Rialto, California. We had an informant that told us it was dope down there at this ranch. And DEA was going to do it, but then DEA boss was being shitty down there, so he was pushing back, and so we were going to do it with HSI, and then they got mad that HSI was in, so we just said, we're just going to go do it. So we told Rialto police, hey, you want to do a search warrant with us? They're like, absolutely, we'll make entry. So they did.
And you're what jurisdiction?
Down in Southern California, like Central Valley.
Right.
Rialto's in the Central Valley.
Right.
So we tell these guys, hey, we're going to hit this house. Can you? And they're like, oh yeah, we'll do the SWAT hit because they want to work. So we do the house. We're fucking searching like crazy, and we finally figured out it's in the wall of it was 82 pounds of meth inside a wall. There was these little bookshelves, and one of them slid open, and they would just drop it, and open up the other one and drop it. So we tore the wall down, pulled 82 pounds of meth out of there. But
you hit the stash.
It just came. So they hadn't dispersed it yet. So everything's timing. Yeah. You might hit one and get dry, and you're like, this guy's a big drug dealer. Or you might hit one and go, oh, dude. And they were like, yeah, it just came in.
Huh.
So.
And you've hit houses where you come up nothing.
Yes. And we told Rialto, you want to take this? And they're like, take what? And we're like, you take the 82 pounds. It's your case. Because we don't want to give it to the feds because they were fighting back and forth amongst themselves. They're like, can we? We're like, oh, hell yeah, dude.
You see the headline the next day, Rialto police take 50 pounds of meth.
82 pounds.
Yeah, but only 50 showed up. Those little bum towns.
That's out in the sticks, dude.
Oh, they're so dirty out there, dude. That's out in the sticks. Did a lot of police officers have drug problems?
The only police officer I know that had drug problems were pill-induced from doctors. Opiates.
There you go. That's how
opiates
starts.
Is the worst, man. Opiates is the worst. Probably 90% of the people that are in the Tenderloin that are doing pills first got them from the doctor. And the doctor took them away, and they got nothing to do. And then they got up because they went down Tenderloin. They started buying their Vicodins and their Oxys and all this shit. And they were like, hey, try this one. It's better. And the next thing you know, they go to heroin. Next thing you know, they go to fentanyl, and they're done. So
those just zombies, those withering away skeleton fentanyl addicts could have started as like normal citizens that just got pills from the doctor.
1,000%. I would see like cleaned up, attractive people going in there, and I'd see them like 4 months later, and I'd be like, oh,
no way.
You're done. You're done.
Yeah.
Got that 1,000-mile stare. Yeah.
Yeah, it goes back to like kind of really what I've been thinking lately is like our government, if you on a high level, is trying to kill us. So did you ever see any people like that make it out? Like get clean? Did you ever arrest a junkie and then later on he calls you or thanks you?
Oh, I've seen them on the street where they stopped me. I didn't know who they were. But man, far and few between. Far and few between.
Yeah.
And that's why you got to get to them before they get to that point.
Yeah.
They need that clarity. They need that time out before they get to that point. I mean, you'll see these people just laying in the gutter with their mouth open, water's running down the gutter on them. They got shit all over them, piss all over them. They can't take care of themselves. And then you have liberal people saying they have a right to do what they want. They're not even there, man, mentally.
Yeah.
They need to be taken somewhere, and they need to be cleaned up and have the opportunity.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't treat an animal that way.
That's correct.
You know what I'm saying?
That's correct. I didn't think of it like that, yes.
You wouldn't, if a dog was like bleeding to death on the street or shitting itself, you would go clean it up and give it to animal control.
And a lot of it's self-medicating. You've got a lot of people with mental issues, and what they do, they gravitate toward the Tenderloin. and they're self-medicating because they're not getting the right medication that they needed because there's nobody there to give it to them.
Right.
If you try to give somebody rehab, you'll see in court, Your Honor, I put a request in. We're standing by waiting to see if any beds are available. Dude, if you can't shove somebody into rehab that day,
right,
dude, it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like, if you look at what they did with San Quentin, it's basically a television studio now. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not even a hard prison anymore. They're having basketball
I used to go there
leagues.
when it was hard. I used to go there for we used to have to do hearings.
Uh-huh.
So if somebody got a parole violation, we'd have to do a hearing on them, like show up and say, yeah, this is what he did.
Right.
So you can't wear jeans there. And I always wore jeans. And they would be like, dude, you're wearing a paper suit. So they'd put me in a white zip-up paper suit, and I'd have to walk through the yard in a paper suit.
Crazy.
I got a funny story at San Quentin. Back in the day, we arrested these people on wires. We took a bunch of them down. There was one at San Quentin that we were taking federal. So I go out there, me and another guy, and I was driving back in the day, I had a 535 BMW, blacked out, lowered. It was a seizure car that we seized from a drug dealer, and that was my car.
Nice.
So I go.
Is that legal?
Yeah, because the seizures, we would take everything that, you can't seize them now, but you used to take their property, their vehicles, all their stuff, as long as you can prove that it was bought with money. Now they auction them off.
Right.
So that's the car I drove. So I go into San Quentin and I go, hey, I got a writ to take this guy out of here and take him federal. And they're like, okay. And they open the gates up. They go, drive all the way around that baseball field and you're going to go over by death row. And he's going to be over there. So I'm driving through. Dude, this BMW's like 90 or 92 BMW, old as hell. And these guys are just running next to me on the car. They're like, what kind of car is that?
So you're in the prison, within the prison walls, driving.
Oh, no, I'm driving right through the yard.
That's wild.
And they're running up to me going, what kind of car is this? And I'm like, it's a BMW. They're like, oh, my God. It's like they had been there so long.
Yeah.
They thought I was in a spaceship. They thought I was flying in a spaceship, dude.
Yeah.
And I picked this guy up. I shackled him and put ankle irons on him and put him in the car. And they were just lined up around it going, oh my God, like I could die tomorrow. And I seen it, dude. I seen it, a BMW.
Yeah, now they're all on smartphones. Everybody's watching YouTube. Everybody's current now in the joint. But like they turn that yard from like people used to get butchered in there.
Oh yeah.
And now everybody's on their best behavior because like, hey, we got the Cal State tennis team coming in. You can look at this white girl. You got Jack material later. You can play tennis with her.
I was a correctional officer for 3 years prior to going to San Francisco PD in San Mateo County. And we went up to San Quentin and went through a training thing with them for a few days. And I was out on that yard, dude. When that buzzer went off, if you didn't hit the wall, if you were an inmate and you didn't get against the wall, they would just crank you up with a stick, dude. Because they'd be running to a fight and you'd hear the buzzers going off. And if you didn't grab a wall, man, they would lay into you with a stick, dude,
right,
and drop you. Because it was like everybody hit a wall when the buzzer goes off. If you're standing out in the middle, you're fair game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My brother's going there because he coaches basketball at a school in the Bay. And they're about to go up there. And he was like, yeah, they made me sign a release form saying like, oh, we can like shoot through you. If we have to hit a guy in a riot, we can shoot. I'm like, don't sign that. That's bullshit. Work around that.
Yes.
That's not cool.
Yes.
But my point is like, they turn that whole place around by like changing the mentality of it.
It's not even a prison; it's a rehabilitation center.
Right. So, like, if you can do that to those dudes, you can compassionately arrest these addicts in the Tenderloin and make them be in a place like that and make them program, clean them up, make them program, send them through rehab, but you have to do it by force.
When I first was working at narcotics, we used to have these days, which we hated doing. They were 11, 5, 50 days. Anybody under the influence went. We hated it because we were always doing like dealers. We weren't doing users.
Right.
But they tell us you got to do 11, 5, 50 a day because it was grant-funded money from the government. So we'd go in there and grab a bunch of bodies. And if they were ingesting or smoking or whatever, they were under arrest. We'd take them to this room down in the Tenderloin, and there would be people there, and they'd be like, here's the deal. You go to jail today or you go to rehab today. We take you immediately to rehab and give them an opportunity to do it. Now they're trying to find beds to put people in. I mean, you've got all this money that's being wasted and stolen through nonprofits and stuff, but you have nowhere to take these people, man. They have a thing called a reset center now in San Francisco that if you get caught using, they can bring you up to it. But it's hard to bring a person up there who's high and then offer him programs and stuff because you're considered not like in jail.
Yeah.
You're in a center. But as soon as they stay there for a period of time, like a drying out period, like a drunken public, they could leave. You're not going to get somebody high and them say while they're high, I don't want to do this anymore. You got to get the person that's been out for a while off the street to say, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, you don't have to put the addicts in with the hardcore criminals. Keep them in their own separate, just like they do with the chomos. Keep them in a separate place, but they got to be there against their will, by force, and they can't get drugs in there. Yes. And hey, if you want to get out, you got to go to AA meetings, NA meetings every day, and you got to, fill out booklets.
Well, that's what they do that's what they do at court. They're like, oh, you'll check in and do a day program. You can't do a day program.
No.
You need to be somewhere that you are there and you're going to sit your time out and decide what you want to do.
Yeah.
You can't do that. If you 5150 somebody, it's really hard to get someone 5150 now because they're so full and they don't want to take people. Like, oh, he's able to care for himself. He's able to care for herself. Go ahead and let him. We're not taking them.
Yeah.
You see these guys and girls walking around in the middle of Market Street in front of cars and traffic and shit. How could you say they have a right to do that? I mean, they're going to get hit and killed. Whose fault is that?
So they come from all over the United States.
Oh, yeah. I mean, over 50% of them, when you arrest them, are not from here.
And do they say they came to San Francisco to get high?
Yes.
Because they can get high?
Yes.
And not be arrested?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And the weather's nice. They can sleep on the street. I mean, California's got great weather.
So
dude, if you live in the Midwest or the East Coast, you'd die out there in the winters.
So they've just created a perfect market for drug trafficking.
Well, sometimes you wonder, I don't know, but sometimes I wonder, did you create that to keep the cycle going, the money flowing?
Yeah, well, that's the homeless industry is huge. I think so.
It's huge.
It's and all this housing that they built, especially in LA, they've given billions of dollars to real estate developers and entrepreneurs, right? They've given billions of dollars of tax money so they can build all this housing. There's plenty of housing, but nobody goes there. And if they do, they're getting high in the housing.
That's the thing is they put them in these SROs, single room occupancies. There's these little places in the Tenderloin. Plus you're keeping them in the Tenderloin. Right. You get them out of there. Get them out of the area. Yeah. Get them where there's no drugs. And they put them in these single rooms with a bathroom in the hallway. And
oh yeah, we've been up into one of them.
It's
fascinating.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Because all they're going to do is stop breathing because of fentanyl in their bedroom, and there's no one there to save them. Right. In San Francisco, they Narcan people all day long. Cops Narcan, firemen Narcan, the citizens are Narcaning people, and they're Narcaning people 2-3 times a day. Because the whole thing about it is like when you get high on fentanyl, your best high is when you're on the verge of death. When you're barely breathing is your best high. Dude, you Narcan those people, they get pissed. They get pissed because you fucked their high up. Oh, they get violent.
That's gnarly.
Because you fucked their high up.
That's gnarly.
Yeah.
So they really want to feel like I almost OD'd.
I guess it's so euphoric feeling is what they're saying when they're just like following the light, man, at the gate.
Yeah. That's why people like DMT, because it's like a death.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, I was talking to God right there on my fentanyl high.
And then you shoved something up my nose and made me come out of it.
Dickhead. Do you think some of these guys, the ODs, drive the junkies? Like if you got a new package of fentanyl, if you're a Honduran and somebody ODs on your shit, that means you got a bomb package, right?
Yes. They're not afraid of it. If it's stronger, they're happier.
Did you worry about that at all? Because you're busting making all these buys with, especially in the early days of fentanyl where nobody knew what it was. Did you ever worry about contamination? We
were told that if you touch it, it'll go through your skin and get you high and all this stuff. I dealt with it for so long, I learned about it. When it's cut, you're not going to.
Okay.
If I touch my eyes, nose, or mouth, yeah, I'm going to get high. But if I put it on my hands and carry it, if they dump a gram of it in my hand, I'm good. And all I do is put it into a dollar bill and fold it up. I just don't use alcohol because it'll pull it through the skin. I use water and soap when I wash it off.
Okay.
So,
did you ever come into contact with pure fent?
Oh yeah. One time we cut a kilo open in DEA and thought it was Coke. And then I go test it with the tester. It says fentanyl. We were like, oh shit. It was
Damn.
It was a pure kilo. Of
Good
fentanyl.
thing we didn't do a line.
And that's why people say, oh, they're cutting it with Coke. A lot of times they're not, because the Hondurans don't understand. When some guy pulls up and says, hey, give me white. Give me a gram of white. Well, they're giving a gram of white fentanyl. Oh. So a lot of it's not cut with fentanyl.
Right.
A lot of it is they're misunderstanding. There's a language communication problem. And they're getting fentanyl instead of Coke because everybody's getting fentanyl.
So could white fentanyl? I've never seen fentanyl.
Oh, yeah.
But could you mistake that for Coke, actually?
Absolutely. It's fluffy. Absolutely. It's got little chunks in it. It's like you cut it off a brick.
Wow.
Oh, absolutely.
That makes so much sense now.
Yeah, because everyone keeps saying, oh, they cut the Coke with fentanyl. No, they didn't. And there's some people that died. There were some people in San Mateo County who found a bag in a bar and they snorted it thinking that they got Coke and they died, man.
Right. Because nobody nowadays is dying from bad Coke cut with fentanyl anymore.
No.
So that might have never happened.
I don't think it did. That's just my assumption is that it didn't. You go up and ask for white, they're going to give you fentanyl. Yeah, you go up and ask for powder, they're going to give you fentanyl.
Okay, because you know these guys. You know these Hondurans.
Yeah.
You've been over. You've spent time as an undercover with drug dealers.
I've had tons of Honduran informants that work for me.
Right. They're not doing this. They don't intentionally want to kill people, and they don't need to stretch. Like, they're making so much money selling fentanyl. I don't need to stretch my cocaine out by diluting it with fent.
No.
It doesn't make any economic sense.
But when you arrest them, you run them through some questions and you tell them, hey, you know this shit's killing people. And they go, yeah, I know. They'll tell you, I know this fentanyl's killing people. They'll admit it. But they're not being cut. They're talking about fentanyl alone.
Yeah.
When I sell this shit on the street, yeah, I know it's killing people.
Right. But my point is, it doesn't make any economic sense. My boomer dad used to be like, oh, be careful if you buy weed on the street. They're sprinkling cocaine on it. Dad, why would they sprinkle?
They're putting PCP in it.
You don't know how drug economics work.
Yes.
Let me take something that's expensive and put it on something that's less expensive and take a loss when I sell it to you.
Well, that's why cocaine, this is my opinion. This is why I think cocaine's coming back into the picture. Because a lot of guys I was buying large amounts from, I was working with major vendors out of Mexican cartel guys. I would hit them up for crystal and I'd buy 5-10 pounds of crystal. You got Coke? Yeah, I got Coke. We didn't want to buy Coke because it was so damn expensive. So for the feds to have to pay for it.
Right.
So we'll buy a lot of crystal. And I'd ask them, they got Coke? They're like, oh yeah, I got Coke. I can get you Coke for $12.5 a kilo. I'd be like, okay. But they don't want to spend $12.5 a kilo for it. They'd rather I could buy crystal, man, if I buy multiples, I was buying it for like $900 a pound, $850 a pound for multiples. So they're like, no, spend that money on bigger volume.
Right.
So I would ask them, you got fentanyl? And they're like, oh, no, dude. My guys down there are staying away from fentanyl. Because they said, dude, it brings a lot of drama.
It
does. And I think that's why you're starting to see Coke come back up again.
Right.
Because they're starting to, before it was like, we'd be on the wire and we'd stop a load vehicle. And we'd hear it coming up. What we'd do is we'd stop it with CHP on a traffic violation. And they'd have 50 pounds of meth, 10 pounds of heroin, 2 kilos of Coke. They didn't have a lot of Coke. Now you're starting to see Coke come back up again.
So a load vehicle, would that be like a semi-truck?
No, it'd be a car.
Okay. So they would, and that's loads that just hop the border
or it's leaving LA and the guy's ordering on the phone. I need 50, 10, and 5. And we'd know it's coming up.
So LA is the big hub.
Central Valley is. LA is Central Valley, mainly Central Valley.
So you've seen cocaine have a resurgence?
I have.
Okay.
I have.
Well, they're also producing a ton of it in South America now.
Yeah.
Way more. So they got to move it a lot more too. of the Mexican organizations, I don't like to call them cartels because that word is way overused, but Sinaloa, and what was another big region? Did you see a lot of people from Michoacan?
Yes, a lot of Michoacan, a lot of Sinaloa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Michoacanos like the crystal meth.
Yeah. They really run the super labs down there. They make 500 pounds a day of it. They have super labs that make 500 pounds.
Out of here.
And that's why I was buying it for so cheap. We went up on a wire. We did a wire on the Hells Angels. And it really wasn't the Hells Angels. We thought we were going up on the Hells Angels. All it was two people. The president and the sergeant at arms were dealing meth. We thought it was going to be the organization, but it wasn't. So it was to say we went up on the Hells Angels, we didn't. We went up on two guys that worked, which we thought it was going to be the organization. They were buying all their stuff from Norteños that we knew. So we were grabbing the Norteños. And when we took it down, we took down the two members, and when we took down a bunch of Norteños. But they had like tons of meth, tons of coke, rifles, grenades. They had all this shit, but it ended up being a Latin cartel thing. Or like you said, don't say cartel, but like an organization, a Latin organization that was bringing it in.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're aligned, obviously Norteños, they're aligned culturally with, the Mexicans.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And like I would grab guys, you knew if you grabbed somebody, if somebody sold me a kilo of coke or sold me multiple pounds of meth and we arrested him and he didn't want to say anything and he's like, I'll do my time. And he'd plead guilty and go. You knew it was family members because they're not going to talk about their family members. They're going to suck it up and eat it. But if they talked, then it's like, okay, they're working with a group and they don't want to go away.
Okay. That makes total sense.
Yeah, because I would flip a lot of guys. I would flip a lot of guys. We like guys that even sold to me, they'd be like, can you introduce him to so-and-so? And they'd be like, yeah, I will. I'm looking at 10 years. I'm gonna introduce them.
Right. Okay, so of the people you arrested, I'm talking about, people at a substantial level. Forget the Hondurans in the Tenderloin. I'm talking about like people at a federal level or a state level that you bust. What percentage of them do you think you get to flip? Like who talked?
On the state level, it was everybody. But then it was nobody because they didn't get no time. What the hell am I going to talk to you for if I'm getting out tomorrow and I'm just going to drag this case out for a year and then the judge is going to tell me don't do it again?
Even people that you got with quantity?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. It's not a violent crime.
So even if you caught a guy with 2 pounds of meth and the feds don't pick it up, that guy's not going to face any state time.
He's not doing state time. Hell no, he's not going to do state time. And before, you got your guy with a gun, federal and state. Federal, we'd trigger lock them. They had a prior felony and they got caught with a gun. Dude, that was no go. They get 10 years. They'd plead to 5. Now, he didn't use it. He didn't use it. He was going to use it. Right. He's not supposed to have a firearm, dude. There's so many guns out there right now. Huh. So everybody's got a gun. Right.
Okay, so you noticed over time it was getting harder for you to flip guys at the state level because they knew that the consequences were way less. You're like, I'll do it.
And I could flip anybody federally unless his family was involved.
Okay.
I could flip anybody federally because they would go to their first appearance, and their first appearance was, you're looking at 25 to life if you're found guilty of this in a trial. They'd be like, 25 to life? And they'll be like, oh, hell no. They tell their lawyer, I want to sit down. I want to do a proffer. So in a proffer, they have to admit to what they did.
Right.
They don't have to talk about anybody else, but then they also have to talk about what they can do.
So would you get guys out facing federal time? Would you actually get them out of wherever they were locked up and get them?
They wouldn't get locked up because even with the feds now, if it's a dope case, unless they're flight risk, they're going to do their case outside.
Really?
Yeah. Unless it's some huge amount, like, Your Honor, you got caught with the 500 kilos or 100 kilos, and I know he's going to flee.
Right. Or if you're...
but if we were up on a wire, a lot of them went, unless they put deportation holds on them.
Right. So you get if you're an illegal immigrant, you get caught, it's an automatic ICE hold, right? unless you're a Honduran in San Francisco. So you were saying those judges
on state cases.
Okay.
On state cases. But there were guys, we would do cases like I would buy like a pound and 2 pounds and 5 pounds, and we'd have somebody we wanted that knew him. We would pull him over and go, hey, dude, here's the deal. The guy you're selling to, Carlos, is a cop. We're going to do a grand jury on you unless you come clean. We want to sit down with you. We want to talk about so-and-so. If we don't, we're going to do the indictment, so you will see a federal warrant coming your way. So the guy's like, I'm not on paper or anything right now. No, you're not. I'll be there tomorrow morning to sit down and talk.
So there's drug dealers all over the Bay Area right now that are working, and they're working.
Well, you got to dance with the devil. I don't know if it's right or wrong.
I'm not judging, but
I'm
saying
saying
there's a significant.
You're no good to me. If you're my informant, you're no good to me if you're not in the game.
No, of course, you have to be.
Yes.
You can't. That's how you get people. You have to let them. That's the bargain.
But they sign a waiver saying, I will not sell drugs. I will not act as an agent of law enforcement. I will not do anything. So if they get caught, I'm like, there's nothing I can do, dude. And they're like, well, and then they're like, well, I'm working for you. Well, tell your defense lawyer. He's not going to say that in open court.
Okay, so when you have a CI out on the street at the state level, he's only allowed to sell drugs that you, like in controlled sales.
No, he can't sell drugs at all, federal or state.
But then what's
we just doing? Tell them, we're telling you that you need to do X, Y, and Z.
Okay, so what are those things you tell them to do?
We're telling you you can't sell drugs.
Okay, so what are those things you have them do?
Information or intro. Intro's huge.
Oh, okay.
So what they say is, I got this boy Carlos that I know, blah, blah, blah. And I always tell them, like, some of them would screw up and go, he's my cousin. I'm like, dude, it's going to come out I'm a cop after. Don't say you're my cousin. Say you know me and that I've been asking and buying good amounts of dope from other people. Do you want me to get Carlos's number? Or do you want to hit Carlos up? I would get guys calling my burner phone and going, hey, so-and-so gave me your number. Or someone gave me your number. Who? I'm not going to say. I heard you're looking for a plug. I am. And they'd be like, okay, well, let's meet. Then I'd meet with them and they'd be like, what do you need? And I said, I'm buying X, Y, and Z. And they'd be like, I could furnish that to you.
Did anybody look at you and maybe not make you, but say, nah, I'm good? Like, did anybody like sniff you out and then back out of a deal that you were trying to set them up in?
I really didn't on a big level. On the street, they're so greedy and there's so many drug dealers out there. They'd say, nah, I ain't fucking with you. I'd be like, that's cool. I'll get it right from him. And then they'd be like, all right. I'll sell it to you. There's too many people out there.
But on a bigger level, they want that sale. So you get.
Yeah, I just had the gift of gab, man. I would tell them like, hey, my boy that hooked me up's a fucking flake. I can't get him on the phone a lot. I'm a businessman. I move shit. When somebody needs something, I got to be able to provide it for him. If I'm spending 3 days trying to get a hold of him, this ain't going to work.
And you have your tattoos out and
they would be like, okay, just call me.
Right. Greed. It's greed every time.
That's all it is greed. But I mean, I would dress like construction clothes. I had dirty clothes. I'd drive a truck with tools in the back, whatever I needed at that time I would do a lot of things to help convince them.
To look the part.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you had a fake scar down the side of your.
We would put if we're out buying dope, we'd put fake scars on our face. We'd take permanent pen and draw a tattoo on our eye or something, something that they'd look at you and go,
hey man, what smells like Sharpie?
But a lot of them I would tell them like, hey dude, I got a good job. I'm making good money and I'm in a union job and they're testing me. I ain't doing dope. I'm making money off of dope. So if you want to sell me larger amounts, I'll buy them. If you don't, we're all good. So they would never expect me to do anything.
Right. That's also a myth. Like if you're a drug dealer, cops can do drugs with you and you're still getting busted. Like it's not like, you know what I mean?
I've never seen it.
But that's one of those entrapment myths that is never going to fly.
The big entrapment myth is, are you a cop? Because you need to tell me. That's absurd. That's absurd. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm a cop. And laugh. And they'd be like, all right.
Oh, this fool's crazy, eh?
Yeah.
Carlos, man, you ain't no
Because
cop.
you have to tell me, and I've had guys that tell me, dude, if you're a cop or you're a snitch, I'm going to kill you as soon as I can if it comes out. I'd be like, no problem. And then I loved arresting them. You know, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people I didn't want to. If I did buys from guys, and I'm like, this guy's a hook, dude. He's making like $50 running this dope over here. I don't want him. If I can't get to his boss, squash the case. I don't want to.
You want to ruin somebody's life if they're not
People
really.
do things for certain reasons. Just like that guy, that lawyer got debarred. He was looking for something to do. Doesn't make it right what he's doing, but he's doing what he has to do to survive. I want the dealers. I don't want the hooks. And it was real easy for me to figure out real quick. And there's a lot of guys like if you're on a wire or if you get a tip on a transportation vehicle, those people don't know anything. They gave him $500 and they told him, there's something in the trunk, don't look at it. You're going to keep this phone with you and you're going to call me every hour on the hour.
Right.
And they would call and check in, take that vehicle, load it with 100 pounds of shit in it up.
So if you found 100 pounds of meth on a load vehicle, it's possible that they don't even know who they're working for.
They have, yeah, a lot of them. Wow. We were getting the M30s coming in across the border, and all these girls were putting them in these sewn bras that were sewn in. The M30 pills were sewn into the bras, and they would have like 1,000 pills. They didn't know anybody.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I don't get any satisfaction out of that.
No, they're just trying to, especially at that level, man, they're just
You're just stupid. You're just stupid.
Yeah.
That's you're not a drug dealer. You're just stupid. I want drug dealers. I would
How-
get a lot of money coming back on wires, going back into Mexico.
Tell us about that.
Shit. We would get millions of dollars.
Oh, please inform us.
We would get load vehicles going back in, get CHP to stop them right before like maybe LA, San Diego. And dude, there was one they stopped and they walked right up to it and the guy's like, I don't have a license. And they're like, okay. They're like, do you want to get out of the car and leave? And he's like, I want to leave. They're like, go ahead and leave. And it was like, I think it was 1.7. And he calls and goes, they stopped me. And the guy's like, okay, what'd you do? I got out of the car and walked away. They're like, go back and say you need those bags that are in the trunk. He's like, I ain't going back to say those bags are mine.
They didn't even give a about this guy. They just knew the money was in there.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen like really sophisticated ways that they smuggle the money back?
One of the ways they would do it, which was kind of weird to me, they would go down to the garment industry in LA and they buy tons of designer clothing by the pound and then bring it into Mexico.
That's a big money laundering way. So you don't even bring the money back. You bring the clothing back.
You bring the clothing back.
And then they sell it down there.
You bring 40-footer of clothing.
Right.
You dump $1 million on designer clothes.
Wow.
And you bring it down there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So your wiretaps got you that information?
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. And what can you do at that point?
If you stop the car before it gets to the garment industry, because everything's cash down there when it comes to that. But it would be like last year's stuff, like new. It's all brand new, but it was like last year's stuff. But we did a lot of cases where we get like $1 million and shit like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you think the Tenderloin brings? Like, I know it's an impossible question, but what do you think it turns over every week? The combined drug sales. You think $100,000?
Over 100. Over 100 on an 8-block radius. Yeah.
And that's 10 pieces, right? That's
that's like
5 pops, 10 pops.
Yeah.
So we're talking tens of thousands of transactions every week.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a guy's making $1,000 a day and he's making maybe 20, 30 sales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Times lots of drug dealers.
And the stuff's gone down. I mean, you could buy 3 grams of fentanyl for $100. I was paying $100 to buy a gram at first, and then now you give it 3 for probably even less than that now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I want to talk about the CIs a little more.
Okay.
So how many CIs would you have running out at a time?
When I was at narcotics, I had tons of them. I had tons of CIs, and they wouldn't just do drug cases for me. I had some CIs that were like affiliated to gangs and would be able to tell who killed who immediately. So we can call homicide and say, this is going to be your suspect. Robbery series. This is the crew of guys. They're working out of the northern district, and here's a couple of their names. Call robbery and let them know. So it wasn't just narcotics that we used them for.
Did you guys bust murders that way?
Oh yeah. Oh yes. We'd put them on a hot path immediately when they didn't have anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
And these are guys that just didn't want to go back.
No, they end up being your friends in a sense.
Right.
I have CIs that still wish me happy holidays on the phone and shit. Wow. I mean, they just like checking in with you. I'm good, dude. Wow. They know I'm out of the game. They're out of the game.
Yeah.
And they're like, just checking in, dude. Because we ended up bonding.
For sure.
They trusted me. They trusted me with their life because I could have put their name out there and something would have happened to them. I could have fronted them out. I would have, sometimes people would ask me, can your CI do this? And I'd be like, I'm not going to let him because I'm not going to let him put himself out like that. Or the feds would say, hey, you got a CI that can do this for us? And I'd be like, I could, but I'm not going to. Because the feds, that name comes out right away. When we did the Hell's Angel wire, there was a girl. I watched her going down the tube, dude. She was going down the drain. And her boyfriend and her were my informants. And she was moving dope for Sergeant at Arms, meth, pounds and pounds. And I let the feds have her. I was like, she's going to fucking end up dead. So she left. She met with him. She picked up 2 pounds. We had her traffic stopped by a narcotics guy in a marked unit in a uniform and said, you're on probation. I'm going to search a car. And she says, I need to talk to Britt Elmore. They're like, who's that? They knew because he worked in the office with me. And she's like, he's a narcotics officer. I need to talk to him. So he went out on the radio. Hey, Britt, can you come out here? So I went out there and I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, I got 2 pounds in the car. I'm like, I know you do. And she's like, oh, fuck. I jumped in her car. They followed me up. I took her narcotics. FBI was up there. That's one of the only times I worked with FBI. And they said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have you continue to buy from him. Everything you get, we'll pay for. And you're going to wear a wire. And when you're done, we're going to put you in another state under another name and get you a job and everything. Because you're not going to live out. You're not going to make it right now with doing what you're doing.
Right. And this is trying to take down the bosses of the Hells Angels.
Correct.
And this is the Hells Angels San Francisco?
Correct.
Damn. So you took down the president and the sergeant of arms?
Yes, but it wasn't an organizational thing.
No, I understand.
I don't want people to think that. There were a lot of guys in that group who.
Most of them don't. Most of the Hells Angels guys are just.
It's different.
Bikers.
Yeah.
Yes. But they were selling meth. The president was selling meth.
Yeah.
Wow. Out of the office? Out of the club?
No. They didn't even let the members didn't even know they were doing
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, did you end up getting them to flip, or did they go?
No. They went away.
They did their time.
Yeah.
So say you've got a CI, right? Drugs. It's federal, and then he says, okay, I'll work for you. How long do you keep him on the hook for before you say, okay, you're good. You're free to go?
I'm different. A lot of guys are like, you got to give me 3 cases. I'm just like, hey, dude, let's just do one and see how it goes. And I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. They feel relaxed with me and cool with me. I know they're going to stick around. So back in the day, we were able to pull their file out of being charged. Can't do that now. Now you got to do a letter of cooperation and you got to jump through all these hoops to do it. But before, we would just go down to rebookings and pull their file and hold it.
Okay, so you as an officer had the discretion.
Correct.
About how long you wanted to use a CI before they were good.
If I pulled his file, I could have him do one for me and we were cool. You get caught on another one, it's on you.
So we're like, the feds aren't even going to know about this yet until you work for me and I see how it goes.
On a state level. When I had state informants.
Okay.
Not federal informants.
Okay.
Feds is a whole different thing. They do their thing. I just step back. I just let them do their thing.
Okay.
I didn't even want to run federal informants. I ran my state informants. I didn't want them to run federal informants because the Fed's a whole different ballgame. I mean, your name comes out immediately as discovery. Right.
So
my name comes out immediately for discovery as an officer. They call me and tell me, hey, we're dropping your name. I'm like, that's fine.
Okay, so when a suspect or a defendant goes to federal trial, when they pull the discovery.
Not trial. He goes to his hearing.
And that's when he's going to find out who's the rat.
Correct. But he already knew, well, no, he might, no, I can't say he knew it was me. He'll know right then.
I see.
His defense, the defense attorney will say that guy Carlos was a cop.
Right.
And then they give my true name.
But then they'll know the CIs too. They'll know who the CI is. Like, so they have to disclose all that.
That's why I told CIs, you don't know me that well when you introduce me.
Mm-hmm.
You just know me as some guy out there trying to buy fentanyl, trying to buy meth, trying to buy guns. You know, I got this guy looking for rifles.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to distance yourself from me because you want to be like, dude, I didn't know. But the informant game is different now. Before you can grab somebody and they would be like, I ain't saying shit, dude. I'll do my time. And as time's progressed and people have progressed, everybody talks on everybody now. They do. Everybody talks on everyone.
That's what everybody says.
Hey, dude, we grab a wire. We grab 20 people on a wire. 15 of them are proffering to talk about what they did and what other people on the wire did. And then they just go, hey, he's going to talk on you. He's going to talk on you. They're like, fuck it, just plea him. Let him plea.
It's kind of smarter though.
It is for us because I went to court very little.
But it's smarter for the defendants because if everybody tells on each other, then
if you're one of the guys that hold your own, you're going to ride it hard.
Yeah.
You are. You're going to get the 10 years, you get 15 years.
So as a legal strategy, if everybody tells on each other, then everybody gets credit for snitching, but nobody gets an organizational enhancement.
So you get,
know what I mean?
just say you get 5-6 years, you do 85% of that. I like the Fed system because when I arrested guys on the Fed system, the first one's not bad. Maybe in your case it was. The first one wasn't bad, a lot of these guys.
Oh, you mean the first sentence?
Yes.
Right.
Your second and third, dude, they're going to be stronger and stronger every time.
So you think the feds on a first-time drug charge actually give fair sentences, but it's if you continue to get caught, that's where it
they
becomes,
get aggressively higher.
Right.
I mean, I had a guy selling me automatic Glocks with a switch on them with 100-round drums. Dude, I could squeeze it and dump 100 rounds in seconds. And I was buying those and rifles from him. And then his cousin turned me on to his cousin. I was buying meth from them. I was hanging out with these guys in their house. So we ended up taking them down. He had a real bad record. He immediately says, I'll take 10 right now. Because he was looking at 25.
Right.
He's like, I'll take 10 right now. Don't want to go to court. Don't want to waste anybody's time.
Dude, I saw a guy do that on the chain with me when I used to have to go back and forth to court because I didn't have any bail, but I was there just on a state case. But you'd be in there with guys, you know, facing serious federal time. And it was like literally the first, whatever they call it, when you first go before the judge.
Arraignment.
Yeah, he goes, I did it. He's got the cuffs on. Yes, it's me. And they were like, no, just
can't speak.
Yeah. It's just, and he's like, no, I did it. And he was like a professional criminal and it was for over some guns. And he was like, I want whatever you want.
Admitting my guilt, please show some leniency on me.
Yes. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I bought a ton of guns, dude. I was buying guns from people where I'd buy like 6 to 10 at a time in a pillowcase. And that's what would bug me. Because if you're selling to me and you think I'm a monster, you're selling to other people too.
Right.
Yeah. I was buying Dracos. I was buying fully auto AK-47s with 100-round drums.
Wow.
I was buying all kinds of shit.
Where the does a Draco even come from?
Dude, I was buying multiple Dracos.
For people that don't know what a Draco is, we'll pop it up on the screen.
They're beautiful.
Yeah, they're amazing guns,
Yes.
but they're fully automatic machine guns with huge banana clips.
And just this pine grip and pine stock.
Right. Yeah.
They're not pretty. They're just cool looking.
They're cool as but they're completely illegal.
Yeah.
Like there's no state where you can own
And
that
I would
gun.
ask him on video, you shoot this? He's like, yeah, I shot it. He's a felon. Folk, yeah, I shot it. You have to put your arm, he was on the video, he's like, you got to put your arm underneath it because it fucking winds up and starts going up. So I had to put my arm down because it's too small to hold. So I want to get him admitting using it because he's a felon. Not that he used it on anything, but that he fired it.
So does that make a difference?
Yeah. It furtherances.
Just
And it also furtherances if you know that I'm a felon and you're selling to me.
Oh. So those guys are going federal. If you're selling you a Draco and you have a criminal record,
I was buying. ATF's really good about spending money. ATF would spend a lot of money
to buy guns.
Yes, I would go down. There were crews I'd go buy 6 to 10 at a time from several different crews, and it was real easy for me to call Alex over at ATF and go, "Hey, I need like $8,000," and she'd be like, "Not a problem."
Where these crews, these gun crews, these dope crews, where are they in the Bay? Because you're not buying Dracos from somebody in the Tenderloin.
Yeah, you are.
Really?
You are. But what they're doing, they're going outside. They're going to Arizona, Nevada. They're going to Vegas. They're going to the gun shows down in Arizona. They're going to all these places and they're buying these guns at like gun shows. Because those gun shows like in Arizona, these guys are taking pictures of it saying, "You want it?" It was like 2 little shorties, ARs. Yeah. And I'd be like, "Yeah, I'll take them both." But they would buy them outside the back from that guy. Like that guy's selling to them out in the parking lot later. No paperwork on it.
So, but then how does it, if he's buying it legally, how does it become illegal? Do they retrofit?
He's not buying it legally. He's a felon. He can't have a gun. So what he tells that guy, "How much you sell it to me if we go buy it in the parking lot when this place closes?" And the guy's like, "I'll sell them to you for like $1,000 a piece."
So that guy's committing a felony too.
He is. It's straw purchasing. I would buy like multiple Glocks in the cases. And there was these gun dealers in Arizona, which was really good for ATF. As soon as we took this case down, they arrested a bunch of people down there. They're gun dealers, and they'd buy like 10 Glocks, but they'd put a different name on each one of them. But they'd sell all 10 of them to the felon. And I had serial numbers on them.
Right.
So they'd call me up and be like, "Hey, I got 10 Glocks." I'd be like, "I'll take them all."
Do you think that's how most of those kind of weapons make it onto the street?
Yes.
Right.
And some people are making them. Like you'll go into a place and you'll see that they ordered a lower, ordered a upper. Right. They had the poly bottom on it, like the P80s, the ones with no serial numbers on them and stuff.
But like a fully automatic, you can't buy that at a gun show anywhere.
No. So
where do those come from? Like, are most of those made?
You're getting them out of state, and some people are altering them.
Right.
But like the Glocks, you buy that switch that goes on the back of those Glocks. They buy them from China. You drop that on the back, it'll fucking unload the whole clip in a matter of seconds.
I see.
And with ATF, having that switch alone is considered an automatic weapon. Just the switch in a bag, not even attached to a gun. So that was a big thing. I was buying a ton of Glocks with buttons on them.
You get to keep any of them?
No.
Did you ever?
I'm not even a gun guy, man. I swear to God, I'm not even into guns.
I'm not either.
I just barely qualify when I'd have to qualify at work. I'd barely qualify. It's funny because I'd work in that warehouse and these guys would bring in these ARs and AK-47s and shit. And I'd be like, "Oh yeah." I didn't even know how to like pull the thing back on it, dude.
You didn't even watch a tutorial?
I put like cotton gloves on because I didn't want my prints on them.
Yeah.
I tell them in case somebody grabs them right now, they'll see that I have my prints on it. And they're like, "Oh yeah, no," they're holding it with towel and shit. But I would ask them, "Is any blood on this? Like that's been used?" Some of them would be like, "Yeah, that one does have blood on it." So that would be a case that they can investigate when they do a NIBIN test on it to see where that shell casing came from.
Okay, so these guys, when you were working in that warehouse that you guys set up and you have people selling you all these guns and drugs, you would let them go. They would sell it to you. You would get it all.
It took a year and a half till we took everybody down.
Okay, so they would come in there, and then after they sold you the guns, you would come in and dust for prints.
As soon as they rolled out that roll-up door, and as soon as the outside surveillance team was following him off, all the doors would open in the warehouse, like behind bookcases and all this stuff. They'd come out, they'd take the guns, they'd swab it, they'd DNA swab it, they'd put it in a box, wrap it. DEA would come out and take the dope and weigh it and test it and put it in a bag, and then we'd get the next customer.
Okay.
And then I'd tell the guy, like, "Hey, give me 15 minutes. And I'd be like, "Okay, roll through the door."
That's how busy it was.
Yes.
It was like a dope spot.
Yeah.
Literally. Okay, so in the process of buying all those guns, were you able to like just stumble across like murders?
There were cases that they were looking at, and I don't know because I don't go that far with them, but there were cases that they said, "Yeah, it has blood on it, like it was used."
So then you would let like the homicide division of whatever.
No, ATF would do it,
okay.
And they would NIBIN test the gun, and they would get the slug, and then they would go to like homicide and stuff and say, "Hey, did you get any shell casings on a homicide that matches this cartridge?"
Criminals got to know that like nobody sells guns and drugs in a warehouse. What is this, a 90s movie?
Well, what they thought was I was sending it all out. If you pulled into the warehouse, it had all this counterfeit clothing, shoes, perfumes, watches. It was all shit that was seized off the port by CHP.
Oh, okay.
So they just loaded this place up, and I'd be like, hey, you want some pants? Take some pants. You want some shoes?
Oh, okay.
Because it was all counterfeit.
I guess they do that though with clothes that get bipped and stuff.
Like I would tell them, like, if this has blood on it, tell me, because I'm going to ship this out to Mexico. If it doesn't have blood on it, I'm going to sell it either local or in another state. And I became so close with these guys, they'd be like, that one has blood on it. Be careful with it. And I'd be like, okay. So they would come forward and say it.
Just getting people to tell on themselves, man. Britt, you son of a gun.
But I had guys like, I'd see them in federal court and they'd be like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? And I'd be like, yeah. And I'd be like, oh. And they'd be like, hey, man, it's all good. It's a game. I got caught. I slipped and I got caught. And those are true criminals.
Definitely.
True criminals who say I got caught.
Definitely.
I'd have other people yelling at me, hey, you pig. And I'd be like, whatever, dude. But the ones that are like, dude, it's a game. And I slipped.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tell us about the weed you went with.
I would do the eradication in DEA.
Yeah. Tell us about this.
Did you ever go to Northern Cal?
Of course.
You did?
Of course. Whenever it would dry out, Southern Oregon was the main spot because it's closer to Portland.
And they were growing up there?
Of course. But
okay. I didn't know.
They didn't have the quantities that
you
Northern
got the
California.
Emerald Triangle there.
That's right. But we have Southern Oregon, Ashland, all those little surrounding counties. It's the same climate essentially as Northern California,
Okay.
right? So we would go to those guys, but those growers, they would get a couple 100 pounds. They were like small, like communal.
Sure.
Nah, I didn't even consider them criminals. And so when we sold out of that load, though, as it went deeper into summer and all the loads got sold out that were grown the season before, then you got to go deeper into Northern California. You got to go meet with the Mexicans and the bigger criminal groups. Yeah. So we'd be as far down as like Arcata.
Yeah. We would stay in Arcata.
Okay.
When we would drive up, and we'd drive up in our vehicles, and the radio station would say, feds are coming up, dude. Feds are coming up. Here's they got 6 SUVs. Don't know where they're going, but here's what the plates are on them. They do it on the radio.
That's wild. It is like a Wild West culture up there.
It absolutely is.
And when you're in a small town like that and a 6-car caravan with fed vehicles, you're going to stand out.
Yeah. We would park at a hotel that would let us hide the cars.
Okay.
But we would stay there for a week. I didn't think of them as criminals. They're farmers.
They're farmers, right.
But a funny thing about it is, it's kind of a misnomer. We would go up to their place, and a lot of times we would hit it like in August, September. Like
and where are these, in greenhouses or are these up in the forest?
Both.
Okay.
Not in the BLM land. We'd do that sometimes, but we'd go onto people's property with search warrants.
Got it.
They weren't mad. They were disappointed, but they were like, dude, as long as you don't make this legal, we're good. And a lot of people don't understand that. They're like, dude, I'm making good money selling this shit. And like you said, I store it for towards the end of the year before the next harvest, so I make a lot off of my shit.
Right.
And they would have like, dude, they'd have $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 in buckets and stuff on the property, or hidden under their bed in a case, canvas case. But they would be like, just don't make it legal, because when you make it legal, we're all fucked. And that's what happened.
So you go bust people. This is post legalization, right?
Post legalization.
Okay, got it.
And they were like, hey, dude, this is a game. We got caught, but don't make this shit legal.
So how did they have warrants? They were growing over the legal amount?
The plane would fly over, and we're able to detect it.
Okay.
So we'd go in, and they'd be like, hey, there's 1,000 plants, approximately 1,000 plants out there.
What was that about? What was worth it to you guys? Like what was like the minimum amount of plants on a grow that you guys would say, all right, we'll get the feds involved?
They would have to be pretty big. They'd have to be pretty big. And the thing about it was federal grant money, so you had to spend it. So they would send us up there, and we'd go up there like 4 or 5 times for a week at a time.
Huh. So you'd haul out 1,000 marijuana plants?
We'd cut 1,000 marijuana plants and fucking put it through a wood chipper.
Would that hurt you a little bit? That beautiful plant?
No, I'm not a weed dude, man.
Yeah, I know, but just the plant,
They were beautiful.
Yeah.
I got pictures of me standing, I swear to God, in it's like a 30-foot tree. And I'm at the top of it on this ladder. At least 20 feet. At least 20 feet.
Yeah.
And it looks like freaking redwood, dude. And it's
just huge buds.
Oh.
Yeah. So you
just
got
dripping.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And these were white guys?
A lot of them were.
So these weren't cartel grows?
No. We'd get those in the BLM land.
Mm-hmm.
But we'd get a lot of Russians, a lot of Armenians were buying property up there and growing.
Yeah.
And
Chinese at all?
On the BLM land.
On the BLM, right.
Yeah, but we would chip it. And then
so would you take those guys in, or would you just seize their load and then
just seize it.
Yeah.
And then Humboldt would charge them so much per plant as a fine.
Oh, so they get their shit taken and then they would get charged by the county?
For X amount of plant. I don't even know what it was per plant.
Right, because you're only allowed to have like a couple hundred plants.
I don't even know. I'm not sure.
Right, okay.
And they have to be rooted. Like if you went to a greenhouse or we go into if they have a lot of indoor hydroponics the Asians do in San Francisco, where they buy a house and they just turn that whole house into a hydroponic. And but the plants have to be rooted. So when you pull them out, you can't charge it unless it's rooted.
I see.
But it got to where we would be like, hey, we got 1,000 plants, and the AOSA's office would be like, not that sexy.
Would you bust those indoor Asian grows?
Yeah. The reason we would bust those mainly is because the neighbors would complain, and it was such a hazard, Wires going everywhere. The house was going to catch on fire, man.
Yeah.
They had one in the Sunset where the guy was doing making that honey oil, the THC oil.
Yeah.
And the fucking house blew up. Blew the mother-in-law. Was it the mother-in-law or the wife died?
No way.
Kids got burnt. Oh, dude, that is highly flammable when they do that.
Yeah, and those conditions are not good. They gut the house. They put some like illegal Chinese migrant in there.
Yes. Who's a nobody.
Yeah.
He's just tending plants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the mail? You say you worked at the mail. Did you catch packages coming through the post office?
All day long.
You know, that was my bread and butter.
Was that your get down?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what? I didn't want the shit going out. I wanted the money coming in on the next day.
Okay, go into this, yeah.
So
how would you get up? How would you get up on it? And then, yeah.
I had a dog. And I had a really good dope dog. And we would get packages that fit a profile. And
Which is? What's the profile?
Well, so they just don't look like they're going to the right place. You know, I mean, if the guy writes Mickey Mouse from Donald Duck, fuck you, dude. I mean, there you go. And I'd run the dog across them. The dog would alert, and I'd say that package there, that package there, that package there. And we would knock on their doors, and
the sender. You would find the address to the sender.
Receiver.
Oh, so
because the money's coming in. It's coming in first thing in the morning.
Okay, so
from the East Coast.
I got you. So how would you connect? But how would you connect a package of weed, probably that was leaving the Bay, going to the East Coast? How would you connect that to the money coming back?
I didn't connect it. My dog alerted to it. To the money.
I see. Okay, so you're sending the dog through the inbound mail.
You find these packages, you lay them out. The inbound, I run the dog across. Dog alerts to. He's trained in marijuana. He alerts to these packages. We would go to people's house and say, expecting a package. Sometimes they said yes. Sometimes they said no. Will you open the package for us? We believe there's contraband in it. They would open it up and it would be like 40, 60, 80 grand. Mm-hmm. Be like, this is ours. We'll give you a receipt for it. As long as you can prove where it came from, within 90 days, you'll get it back.
Wow.
But we would hit some huge ones. Huge hits. Like, I could pull $1 million out in 4 days out of postal. Wow. $1 million. Yeah.
All that drug money coming back.
Yeah. All that weed money.
Yeah, it's weed money.
All weed. Big money. I mean, you knew back in the day, what, East Coast, 3-4 times what you pay for it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can sell it, you can send so many, hundreds at a time. And, you know, if it gets busted, I got so much more.
But people didn't even hide it. I mean, you'd get a box squashed, and he'd look inside and see vacuum packing, clear vacuum pack with just stacks of money in it.
Yeah.
Nobody even tried. They didn't even conceal it because they were just send that money.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we would hit up to 400,000
in one
cash.
package.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then
and we were hooked up with the parcel companies, the companies that get private companies.
Mm-hmm.
We were cool with them. They'd call up and say, hey, this guy gets this wooden box, sends it out, and he gets it back like in a week, and he's just stupid about it. He just keeps calling, did it come, did it come, did it come? And then I'd open it up, and there'd be like 200 grand in there. Because he sent out the dope with that box. Right. I'd cut my dog loose, he'd alert immediately. Get a search warrant for it, open it up, and there's like 200 G's in it.
And then he's not going to claim it. You go confront him with it. He's not going to claim it. So then what do you guys do with that seized money?
That seized money all goes to the feds, and then the feds would break it off to the locals who were involved in the case. Oh, I was bringing a ton of money to my department, a ton of money. I mean, my dog was probably good. I'm not lying. He was probably good for $3-4 million a year. And that was gross, and then we'd get a percentage of it.
Yeah, it's a money-making scheme.
That weed money was huge.
That's why you guys didn't want to go you didn't want to become illegal. I say you guys, I mean both sides. My side didn't want it and your side didn't want it.
Yeah, your side, they would tell us, man, like as soon as you make it legal, these corporations are going to come in here and cut us out.
And that's not what happened, but in a sense, it did reduce the amount of racket, definitely in many ways reduce the amount of racket. And I mean, look, the biggest, I learned this when I was in prison, and I read that the California Corrections Union was the biggest donor to the anti-legalization fund. Obviously, like everybody is getting money out of this war on drugs.
Yeah.
People make money off of war. It's kind of the point of war, mostly.
We didn't really give two shits about it. It was a law. They broke it. We go up there and seize the dope. But they would, we'd seize the money, which was lots of money. And like their trucks, every year they had a $100,000 lifted truck because they would buy it from the dealerships up there. And the dealerships aren't supposed to accept cash. So like one of the salesmen would buy the truck and then just sell it to that guy.
Right.
And make it. And I mean, dude, they had like $100,000 diesel lifted, just sick ass 3/4 ton trucks and stuff. Every year they got a new one. But these guys they grew their shit. Let's say they make 100, 200 for the year. Do it again the next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was like farmers.
It was a way of life.
Yes.
Totally. Wow. So you did that this is 25 years you're doing this.
25 years I did it, yes. Yes. Yeah.
So many drugs. Your life, you know the game as well or better than a drug trafficker.
Yes, because I know the different avenues of the drugs. A lot of times a drug trafficker will be wrapped up in just one type of drug.
Yeah.
And they got it down. But we had like, in San Francisco, we had guys moving kilos. They would have a girl, they'd get like a white girl to go order a pod. And they drop that pod, this is probably stuff you did. They drop the pod in a driveway of a house for rent. They throw some couches in it, tear the bottoms out of the couches, load it up with Coke, put the things back down, and say, hey, that pod's ready to pick up. It's going to New York.
Yeah.
And then also they get delivered at a house that was for rent or for sale there. And they take the key, open it up, pull the shit out of it, and leave the pod there with all the couches and shit inside it. And dude, they could put 100 kilos of Coke in it.
Yeah. Were there guys moving hundreds of keys like that?
Yeah.
Out of the Bay?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a lot of guys that moved a lot and made a lot of money, Bay Area guys. But when they got wrapped with the feds, one of their deals was like, I'll plea, let's just end this. Don't
come after
my
money.
assets alone.
Yeah.
Don't dig in to find out where my money's at. I'll plea right now.
Yeah.
They'd go ride it for 5-10 years. When they got out, they were doing well because they had all that money sitting there waiting for them.
And the feds would do that if you're like, if you don't fight me on this and just plead guilty, I'll...
Yes, in a way, it was like, hey, he's going to plea. He wants it all to end right now. And pretty much that's what he's saying. Like, he's gonna admit his guilt. Let's stop.
And most of the time, the AUSA is going to say, all right, move him through because I got to get to the next guy.
And unless you're IRS, you're not I mean, there's some people that are savvy on finances, but most of the DEA guys and HSI guys and ATF people, they're not financial people to go find money, to go find out where it's being put or taken or something, unless you're IRS. So a lot of, like all they want to do is get guns and dope off the street and move on to the next one.
Right. So but being like the first line of defense, you saw you were like the first person to see the changing drug trends.
Oh, I've been through crack, then meth got really big.
In the early 2000s.
Early 2000s. Yep. Heroin was always stable. It was always there.
It's an opioid. There's always a stable opioid.
Correct.
Right.
And it still is. I mean, you can go in the Tenderloin and buy heroin whenever you want.
I'm going to go buy some heroin, I think, when I'm back in San Francisco. I want pure smack. I'm so sick of fentanyl. I'm sick of hearing about it.
But the meth was big for a while, dude. Meth was crazy. I was paying $14,000 a pound. I got it $14,000 a pound when it first came out. When it first came out, dude, like early 2000s, when meth was coming out, it was 99% pure. We flipped a couple of guys, one off that Hell's Angel wire, the Norteño, and he was like, I'll turn you on to every one of my dealers, which was family members. And I was like, let's go. So I was buying multiple pounds from those guys. Yeah. And I was paying dude, I could pay between 9 and 12, 14,000 for a pound of it because it was so rare.
Right.
And now, $8.50 a pound because they just flooded the market with it.
Sent so much of it.
But meth stayed in the race for a long time because a lot of people are functioning meth addicts.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do meth and still deal with society unless you do too much and start getting paranoia.
Yeah, and it's still pretty big. It's just maybe not in the cities as much.
I can get it whenever I want it. I mean, crystal, you ask for crystal, they'll sell to you from grams to ounces.
Yeah. Meth's huge in Mexico because it's, a lot of working class people, they cut the coke up. It's good coke in Mexico. Don't ask me how I know. Is expensive. It's like American prices. I'm like,
really, that much?
$70 for a gram of coke in Mexico City. Wow. Now I'm just because I'm talking to the cab drivers and they're like, I'll get you whatever you need. Sure. Let's go. And I'm like, no, I don't need anything. But how much is this shit selling for? Most Mexicans in Tijuana, in Sonora, don't have $70 to spend on a gram, but they can spend $10 on meth. Yes. You know what I mean?
And get a high for the whole day.
Yes.
And get a different kind of high, but you'd get that long, like you drank 100 cups of coffee for a whole day.
Oh, it sounds good. I love coffee.
But
so you saw it go from meth, you saw it go from crack to meth, heroin, and then obviously 2014, 15 is like the fentanyl.
Fentanyl started coming in and I was like, dude, this is not like any other type of monster.
Yeah.
And once you get into those synthetics, like the whole MDA era, where they changed it one molecule so it wasn't illegal federally because they changed the chemical on it. Yeah. And it's the same thing with the fentanyl because now it's a blanket. But if you test fentanyl, it tests isofentanyl, it tests carafentanyl. It's all these different because all it is just different type of synthetic. Right. So they had to blanket it.
I see.
But when that came in, I was like, dude, this is no joke, man. These are zombies. It's fucking taking people out.
Do they have that trank shit on the West Coast in the Tenderloin?
They have some of it. They have some of it in there. Huh. Yeah.
And now you see like powder cocaine coming back, being in trend, right? And
yes, and you also see a lot of people at bars with the little $20 bags and stuff now, getting back into that, like guys in bars and girls in bars, little sniffing bags, like little Ziploc with you don't see the snow seals anymore, but you'll see a little Ziploc with a little 20, little paquete, they call it.
Yeah. Dude, it's just constant. How do you feel? Did you get exhausted after a time? Like, I'm not even leaving a dent, or did you just look at it as like, I'm having fun?
I'm having fun, dude.
Yeah.
I was having fun. Meeting new people, doing new cases, move on to the next one. I never took it personal. If I took it personal, there's a lot of people that take it personal and they're jaded as fuck when they leave.
Right.
Even in just like patrol and stuff.
Like guys who came in like, I'm going to make a difference.
Yeah, I didn't. I wasn't like that. I was like, they're going to let me be a cop? Fuck yeah, I'll be a cop. I never thought I was going to be a cop. I was a blue collar working guy and I knew that's what I'm going to be. My buddy was a fireman, Ed. He turned around and said, hey man, you got to get a job like a fireman or a cop. I was like, yeah, sure. So I got a GED, put it in, and San Mateo Sheriff's Office picked me up as a correctional officer. And I went there and I was like, oh my God, dude, this is great.
It is. It's entertaining. I get to be around the funniest people, the weirdest people.
And I got along with all those inmates because they were fucking people like I knew. I clicked with them. And they didn't give me any slack and I didn't give them any. You respect me, I respect you. The people that had problems are there, the ones that didn't respect the inmates. Yeah. And they thought of them as pieces of shit. And that's not how I think.
Did you ever get approached by family or people who knew that you were a cop and say, hey, man, like, if you could just feed me information, I'm not saying anything, but, you know.
Regarding?
I give you an envelope every month. Just you let me know if, you know, if they're setting up on me for a case or anything like that.
No, never did. I never did. Yeah, and the thing is like with the feds, like I was buying guns from a couple people that were family members of cops, and I didn't know till after. Oh. And I couldn't stop it. Huh. You know, I'm not that I would. I'm just saying I couldn't. There was with the feds, dude. They're strict as fuck, dude. Yeah. They go to polygraph every year. They can be acknowledged to polygraph. They get dope tested all the time. Right. They stay on them. Yeah. You know, they stay on them, and that's what protects them from. That's what protects them from doing anything dirty. The feds, you'll get like a broken arrow, but most of the time it's like, dude, they're getting polygraphed at any time and they're getting tested all the time. Yeah. So
no, we got to flip some local pigs. Me and you.
Well, the West Coast, you're gonna have trouble doing the West Coast because we make so much fucking money.
Right. Well, I mean, you guys think it's a lot of money, but to a kingpin, you're like, dude, I can change your life.
No, absolutely. But dude, you could be a patrol officer making $400,000 or $500,000 a year.
God, really?
Swear to God. Swear to God with the overtime. Swear to God with the overtime.
That's why a cup of coffee in California costs $11 because I got to pay a patrol officer who's getting his sucked by a hooker on the job. Dude, $500,000 a year off.
A patrol officer's making almost $100 an hour. And that's why you don't get a lot of broken arrows. You get those guys in the East Coast, Midwest.
South, bro.
South, New Orleans. You get places, dude.
You know how corrupt Texas is? You should hear the stories.
I'm embarrassed when someone tells me what I make. I went to 9/11. They sent 100 of us to 9/11 to help for like a week. We brought a bunch of money over from the POA to them, and we went over there, and it was kind of a moral support thing because those guys are so beat up, those cops and firemen. So they sent 100 of us they put on a United plane, and they flew us over for a week. So those New York cops are making like $36,000 a year. And they're asking, I'm not going to tell you what I'm making. I'm like, yeah, I kind of made the same. I was making 136.
And this is in 2001.
Yes.
That's
and these guys are like, yeah, I had my best year this year. I made 36,000. I was like, oh, that's good. They're like, what'd you make? I was like, about the same.
So you hear that? And I never want to hear this bullshit about liberals are trying to defund the police. The police have so much funding, dude, in Los Angeles, like communist Los Angeles.
The big cities do. The big cities do. The small cities don't. But
that's where we're gonna flip the cops,
dude. The big cities, like
we're gonna flip the cops.
Dude, San Francisco, dude, they get federally funded. The LA gets federally funded. Boston, New York. You got your major cities, and San Francisco's not even a big city. It's 7 miles by 7 miles. Yeah, but it's considered a big city.
Yeah. Yeah, we live in a police state, guys. So don't think whenever a cop comes in here and is like, I was at war. No, you weren't. Shut up.
I'm saying that inside. No.
Dude.
Hey, if you ask my wife, she'd be like, no, dude, you played all day.
Yeah, exactly. You had a great gig. You have all of the laws of society that make it impossible for the criminal. You're backed up by courts of law. The feds are backed up by, in my opinion, completely draconian drug laws. The only place that it's unfair is, you're right, when you're trying to get illegal immigrants that are selling fent in the city of San Francisco.
The feds need us.
That is where it's kind of against you a little bit. I agree.
The feds need the locals because a fed can't arrest on robbery, car theft. They can't arrest on any of that. They have to arrest on federal charges. There's no federal charges for that.
Right.
So what they needed us to work as task force officers because I can grab that guy on a state charge and charge him, and then we can start working our way up. But they can't do anything. If they caught somebody robbing somebody, they have to do a citizen's arrest because they could only live off those federal laws.
Right.
And I had federal and state.
Right.
So I can do them both.
I'd rather see local governments take more control and if you be tougher on crime that actually affects the citizens. A guy bringing in 100 kilos of coke does not affect the average person's day-to-day life at all. It really doesn't. Mm-hmm. Most of that coke's being sniffed by people that are lawyers and functional people. Like, let's not lie to let's be adults. You people blowing up drug boats in the government, you were all sniffing coke in DC before you got on. Hang on. Rant almost over. Me getting my car bipped in San Francisco, that people up, dude. That's people need to be prosecuted.
They call that a property crime. That's not a property crime. Because when I got to pay for a window and I got to fucking clean out my car and I just lost all this shit in here, how are you calling it a property crime? When I'm a tourist and I come in and lose everything and I spent $10,000 to fly across from the East Coast and I lost everything, how could you call that a property crime?
And just the way of life, like if I'm a citizen and it's already expensive and maybe I got to get to work and now I can't work. I mean, you're harming the person in so many ways. You know what I mean? So, we just got to get these feds. We got to, I told you before the podcast, when I become governor of California, I'm going to basically
appoint me.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to be like, buddy, you're going to be up there. You're going to keep me safe from all these Israelis that are going to try to whack me. Okay. I asked James Fishback, who's I interviewed him in Florida. He's running for Republican governor there, like as we speak, as we're recording this. I asked him straight up, would you as governor use the National Guard to defend yourselves against the federal government? And he goes, absolutely. So I think that
you got his vote, huh?
Yeah, I think the tyranny that's coming, the states are going to basically have to turn the guns on the feds and say, no, you will not turn my country, my state into China. You will not.
In our lifetime?
Well, when I'm governor, yeah.
In our lifetime, do you think it's going to get that bad?
I don't know. Probably.
Really?
Probably. Or we all give up. They don't want to do that. What they want is to have us all high all the time. It starts from the prescription drugs that they give us all the way down to we're not arresting you for fentanyl. We want you on screens all the time, looking at entertainment all the time. Go read Aldous Huxley's Brave New World. It was written in like the 1950s, right? It's you live in a dictatorship, a digital prison where you're observed all the time. Every movement you make is tracked. All of your money, because by the way, we've devalued your currency so much that now nobody can afford anything, much like California.
Yes.
So now it's okay because we're going to give you digital tokens like we did over COVID.
That we could take away at
any time. But don't worry because you're going to be high and you're going to be entertained. And that to me, I'd rather blow my brains out.
No, it makes me think. I mean, I own a house, my kids own houses. It's like we're going to get those taken away eventually because they tax it so much that we can't afford it anymore.
So they would rather have that option. But if they have to, like with a draft, you know what I mean? Like some people say, like with this war in Iran, they are going to go in with troops and the morale is so low. Nobody wants to fight. Everybody knows that this is a war for the elites and for probably, the foreign intervention. Nobody believes in this war. So they're going to have to literally go conscript people, young men. That is where they don't want to do that. But if it gets that bad, I think they may. And that's why you have all these data centers popping up is because we need to be able to store all of your information. And if you've been a bad boy, like
I worked in the war demos when they had them. Whew.
What does that mean?
War demos, they demonstrate in San Francisco for everything.
Oh, yeah.
And dude, those war demos, people were for it, against it. We were out there in uniforms with helmets and sticks and all the time.
Yeah.
It was just protest after protest after protest.
Well, I'll say I know liberal Protesters from San Francisco are annoying. I understand that, but at least they're aware.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to shit on San Francisco. It's easy to shit on California, but
Yeah.
we are I don't know, man. It's the culture starts in California, progress starts in California. It does.
I want them to take the guns away from the felons who shouldn't have them.
Right.
And be more stricter on it. Before, when I first started, feds would trigger lock anybody with a felon in possession of a firearm. Not now. Dude, you get caught with the firearm on you and you're a big-time felon with a big record, judge releases you for your court date. Just come to court. It's like before it wasn't like that. You got shipped away right away.
But I think
there's no fear of being a felon in possession of a firearm.
But don't you worry that steps on people's Second Amendment rights?
I don't think it does when you're a felon with a violent crime. I don't think that you should. For trigger lock, you had to have drugs or a violent crime.
Oh.
So I don't think that does when it comes to that, because if you're carrying that gun and you have violent past and you're a drug dealer, you're going to use that. You're going to eventually use that gun that I stopped you with and it's sitting in your waistband, and the judge is like, oh, he didn't use it. So
yeah.
He didn't use it, but there's the propensity for him to use it is huge.
Yeah.
And drugs, I think fentanyl should be in a whole different, I think anything synthetic should be in a whole different category.
All right.
I think, dude, that shit's like anthrax. I mean, it's terrible. I mean, like you said, dude, people are in bars sniffing a little coke, doing this and that. To me, it's not right, but it's not like some zombie that's walking around with shit all over him, eating out of a garbage can because he doesn't even know his own name or her own name.
Yeah.
I don't think that's cool.
No, it's definitely not cool. And like I said, this is not a solutions-based podcast.
No.
But I'm cool with a governor that would be like, yeah, we're going hard on street crime, property crime, because that's where the society starts to come apart when you see your neighbor with the broken window and the graffiti, right? But you also got to come after the oligarchs, because they're the ones on a large, high level that are the cause of it. They're the cause of the cultural rot. They're the cause of the cultural despair. It's not my fellow American. Like, we have to love our fellow American that's suffering.
Well, it's like the dispensaries. I mean? They opened up the dispensaries and all the shit areas. Well, not shit areas, all the lower class areas. And then they tried to put one up in Pacific Heights, and they're the ones that were like, that's fine. Go ahead. They're like, not in my fucking backyard, dude. You ain't doing that. You're not doing that at all.
That's the problem with, a society that's too stratified, is because rich people don't have to feel the consequences of what they vote for. You know what I mean? So trust me, your enemy is Elon Musk. Your enemy is Peter Thiel. Your enemy is are the people donating money and buying our politicians. Your enemy is not the drug dealer. Not that he should be allowed to.
I hate to say this, but I work for one as executive protection for one.
For who? For a drug dealer?
No, for a rich person.
I'm not
tech world.
Okay, so yeah, those guys are the enemy. Not being rich is awesome. Yeah. I'm not shitting on all rich.
So
people.
Nice to me. That family's so nice to me, dude.
Oh yeah, no, they're lovely people, dude. I'm sure one-on-one they're. Yeah. You know who else was nice to you was cartel members.
That is true.
So on a high level,
sometimes they cared more about me than the cops. It's true. I never felt good about arresting people.
Really?
Only vicious devil people I did. I was like, yes. But dude, a lot of the people I arrested, everyone's like, yes. Dude, I was on the fence.
Would you ever like pat somebody on the back after cuffing them and just be like, it'll be okay, buddy? That's what the cops did to me, because they could tell I was not like, you'll be out in a few years. I'm like, don't say that. Tell me tell me my life's over, man.
They would ask me if I wanted to see them, and I would be like, no, I don't want to see them.
Because you built a relationship with them.
Dude, they would call me and go, let's go to dinner tonight. Or they'd be like, hey, we're at the bar tonight. What are you doing this weekend, dude? You want to go with us to Tahoe? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Always had to make an excuse. Or they'd reach out and go, hey, I haven't talked to you in a couple of days. You good? And I'd be like, I'm good. Dude, no cops are fucking asking me if I'm good. But I'll tell you, when I got into as a correctional officer, I was like, wow, this is different. And then I got picked up by San Francisco PD. And once I got there, I never wanted to be undercover. I didn't think I would be. I was just lucky to be getting paid by the city.
Yeah.
So I go through there, and the whole time I was like, dude, this is like, I hate to call it like it, but it's a gang of your own. These people will take a bullet for you, these cops. You create your own little, your group. I mean, dude, when there was an emergency, every black and white came.
Right.
Every officer came because you're with one of our people.
Did you get in any shootouts? Did you ever have to discharge your weapon?
Oh yeah, I've been in some shootouts where my partners were shooting people. I never did. The only time I really shot, I had 2 pit bulls come at me, and I shot, boom, boom, and they screamed and ran away, and I missed them. They fucking came back with their tail between their legs.
Good dog. Good dog.
Fuck. Yeah.
I don't blame you, bro. I would have shot those mutts too.
Oh, dude, they were coming at me hard. But it was, I felt a sense of team with SFPD.
Right.
Against other groups other gangs.
Other gangs. I would be working in the projects. Yeah. And they would know, like, dude, he'll bring that whole team down here and flip this place over. You know, and I felt good about it, that you're not necessarily doing it because of me, you're doing it for who I work for. It's like if there were shootings in the projects, we would just go in there and saturate the place. All the cars that were sitting out there were scofflawed and towed away. Anybody that had a warrant went to jail. It was like, we're going to put the pressure on you now because you f***ed up and you're making this hard for all these people that have to live here. Yeah.
So and that doesn't happen now, but it did before. It was like everybody from traffic to narcotics to gangs were spending the next week inside that project because 2 people got shot.
Right. Yeah.
So I felt like I had an
impact.
Yeah, and it was camaraderie.
Do you think you were one of the most active undercovers? Like, do you think you did the most buys in your career out of anybody in that precinct or any cop that you knew?
No, there were a couple guys that did, like Scrappy, Kevin Healy, he Bobby Sanchez, those guys on the street in the Tenderloin, they could buy. They could buy like crazy.
Like, how many buys do you think you did?
Thousands. They did more than me. Wow. And but when it got to going upper level, when it got into the ounces and the pounds and all that, by far I was the one who did all that. They were happy doing the Tenderloin stuff, and they just wanted to stay in Tenderloin and do buys. They had they fit the part. They looked, when they dressed up, they looked rough. Yeah, and they can buy dope.
So you're kind of living this as an undercover for, decades. You're kind of living this constant lie. Did your wife ever get suspicious? Like, if your wife was like, you could lie so good to these criminals, like, are you lying to me?
Like, that's the thing. I don't think I was lying because I was just acting like Britt when I was young.
Right.
It's seriously, there's a difference. I didn't put it on an acting. Everything I said and did, or where I worked or what I did, was something I was accustomed to. If I said I was an elevator mechanic, my cousins, my brother, all of them are elevator mechanics. I know about it. Oh. If I said I was working, doing construction, concrete, I did construction, I did concrete. So it was, all I did was take bits and pieces of growing up and convinced them that way. And then I wasn't scared. That's the thing, I wasn't scared. You'll send some new buyers out, even in the Tenderloin, and they're just like, just shaking while they're walking up. I have like a big martial arts background and stuff, so I'm not scared of you, like, if you come at me. And I didn't care, like if you swung on me or something. It doesn't bother me. I wouldn't care. And also, like, I probably had like tombstone courage. I'd be sitting in a car with a guy and he had a gun on him and we're buying dope and we're arguing over the price. I would be like, this dude could probably shoot me or stab me at any time. Nobody's going to get to me in time.
Right.
They're far away.
Yeah.
They're far away. It's over by the time they do. And I got a really big high out of that. Dude, when I was done, it was like, whew, I was like, that was good. Right. Yeah, it really was.
It was addicting, right?
It was addicting, man. The fear factor of, like, we're arguing over a price, some shit's going to come down, and then all of a sudden it works itself out, and I'm driving away going, yeah, that felt good. Not, yeah, I got the buy. It was like, yeah, I got good. Buying guns from guys and they got a gun on them and I can see it and they know I got 10 grand in my pocket and they're like, they could pull that motherfucker out right now and say, fucking break yourself, motherfucker, give me that 10 grand. and if somebody pulls a gun out on you, you better go for their gun because there's no way you're going to be able to reach in and pull a gun out from wherever you're holding it at and try to defend yourself.
Did they teach you that, or is that just something that you put together?
It's something you put together. I never carried a gun on my waist.
Like if I have the drop on you, there's no way.
There's no way.
You got to reach for it, yeah.
If I'm sitting in a car with you and you pull it out,
yeah,
dude, I got to climb on top of you and just try to push that in a direction that I'm not going to get hit and just wait for them to come.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank God that never happened.
But that was a big high.
For sure.
It was a huge high. It was so much that people would call and HSI goes, hey, we just ripped a guy. And he says he can introduce you to buy multiple rifles today. Let's go. I didn't care who he was. I didn't care who the guy was. I didn't need to see what his profile was. Somebody, DEA, we got a guy right now that we flipped, but we're going to book him. So we have to get you to go buy right now before he goes to jail. I'm like, just hook it up. I'll go do it. And it was a big high for me just to show up and meet somebody I never knew. And we're now doing a deal.
That sounds so fun, to be honest.
It was, dude.
Most cops don't have such a good privileged career.
Absolutely. If I died tomorrow, man, I did it all. I swear to God. I never thought I'd be a cop because I just didn't. I was working and I didn't even know what cops did. You know what I mean? Like when you're like doing construction and I'd see some guy as a cop. I don't know how he became a cop. I don't know what he did. And then when I got in, I was like, shit. And then I was working Ingleside. I only worked in a uniform for like 6 months. And then they put me on a plain clothes team at a station. And I was working plain clothes and I was like, oh, this is fucking fun. And then the narcotics guys would come around and I would gravitate towards them. I'd be like, hey, can I help you? You know, let me do something. So this guy, Paul, my boy, Paul Lozada, he was like, let him ram the door. On a search warrant, I'd be like, oh, fuck, I hate to ram the door. So then I do it, and then he was like, hey, you want to come down? I think I get the captain to bring you down here. So they said, okay, we'll bring you down for 6 weeks, and all you're going to do is buy dope in the Tenderloin. And I never bought before, but they said, that's all you're going to do. If you want to come down, you can come down. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'll come down. And I never left. I stayed my whole career there. Wow. So I stayed from 99 till 2024.
So what are you doing now, man?
Do executive protection for a family. Really nice family. I work part-time as a sworn officer for an investigative bureau in the city, not for the cops, for a different division.
Do you have social media? I want to plug something, but
I'm trying to do I'm hooked up with this guy, Matt Murphy. He's a retired DEA agent from the East Coast. We have a outline of a book that we did. So I'm just trying to get a publisher to step on with us and get this thing rolling.
Do you have social media people can follow?
LinkedIn. Okay.
And if they see you, reach out, get a hold of you for some work. If you got some money you want to spend on you, you're going to be, I want you as executive protection my personal bodyguard for when I am governor.
Not in Columbia.
No. We're going to be in California.
Yeah, not when you go to Columbia.
No, those days are gone, thank God. But yeah, man. Well, what an amazing journey, and yeah, dude, just cool cop, man. Cool cop. Would have been a privilege to have been arrested by you.
Oh, we would have laughed
for sure.
I never took anything serious. Yeah.
Would you ever have to tell like rookies or like young, Sean Penn from Colors, like, yo, gear it down?
I teach classes in that. So I teach classes like dirty shoes, dirty hands.
Yeah.
First thing a drug dealer is going to do is look at your nails and shit.
Yeah.
So you want to like go up to the rim of the tire and get it all dirty and rub all that shit inside your nails, because you're not going to be all clean. So dirty shoes, dirty hands. I tell them, look them direct in the eye.
Would you have to lose weight?
No, because most of my shit was I'm buying dope to sell.
Oh, right, because you came up as a drug dealer, right?
Yes, and those other guys that I told you, they're like skinny. They fit the dope fiend part when they put on the clothes and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
The Honduran still there?
Oh yeah. Just losing 2 a day. These people are overdosing off of something.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Just in the Tenderloin.
Oh. Hey, well, Britt, thank you so much, man.
No, I appreciate it.
Really
fun.
appreciate it.
I had a fun time.
Yeah, dude. We'll come out and film in San Francisco sometime.
I'll come down there.
Hell yeah.
I'll walk the street with you, dude.
You still live in the Bay?
Yes, I do. I live in the peninsula.
Ah, nice. Good living up there.
Yeah.
Good salary.
Yeah.
We learned a lot, dude. You taught people how to sell drugs, taught people how to launder money, and you could become a cop and live pretty good out there in California, man. All right, you guys. It's been Britt Elmore, and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Take care.